Yo, status is first, a certificate at my birth. Made my blessing of life a curse. Going in my mom's purse and my dad's wallet. Doing things I shouldn't be doing, but I lack knowledge. No ancestral homage, only knew Tangem and Lamsey. On the other side, only knew Popeye and Granny. I learned a lot, not enough streets taught me to eat by hustling. Never knew the Moabites or musclemen. Only musclemen I knew lifted weights on bars. Most of my heroes from my hood looked through bars. Punchers in backs faced with scars. Told me store weed in jars. Get freedom, they just wanna see stars. Saying things change when you live on a range where grown men don't act their age and act in rage as he turns life's page and welcomes change. Can't be black, that hex keeps your minds enslaved. Don't be offended when we say we not black. Moors have a status, they can't make us a stat. Might be a ball cap, not a fez we rockin'. Moorish, more aboriginal, Moroccan. Don't be offended when we say we not black. Moors have a status, they can't make us a stat. Might be a ball cap, not a fez we rockin'. Moorish, more aboriginal, Moroccan. It's not just me, my people are tripping. Playing racism and prejudice, playing the victim. Victimizing themselves, won't be responsible. Still calling Inquisition, clan, highwayman, constable. An officer, KRS-One told you overseer. Faith is lost in fruition, open slap a believer. Believing when the root of believers lie. Conscious coons love to debate, I don't know why. Passing collection plates, conscious ties get paid. Followers dumb, it's not where you at but where you from. Too many mental blockages, clear you some. Like phlegm on your chest, correct your status, Moors would hear you son. With no stress or arguments, we forever students. Feel no way to dead a nuisance. Stabbed to death with facts and truth. Left black and blue, facing the corner with a dunce cap on you. Don't be offended when we say we not black. Moors have a status, they can't make us a stat. Might be a ball cap, not a fez we rockin'. Moorish, more aboriginal, Moroccan. Don't be offended when we say we not black. Moors have a status, they can't make us a stat. Might be a ball cap, not a fez we rockin'. Moorish, more aboriginal, Moroccan. Flashbacks of dead days, drinking 40s of Schlitz. Pork blue paper spliffs, before Bloods and Crips. At CMP, Nia telling us raise our consciousness and stop rhyming about nonsense. Gotta say thanks cause that brother was on it. If I could go back, trust that I would be on it. No sweat or regrets though, still made it. Thanks to Allah, our ancestors were patient. Let me do my BS, escaping scars and jail bars. Drunk, putting pedal to the metal and crash no cars. So protected even though I neglected. Higher self all those years, lower self accepted. Finally inspected and lower self ejected like Mayday. Learned many lessons in my heyday. In many sessions, bumping Mob Deep and Smith & Wesson. Around thug life all you hear about is weapons. From pistols to blades, Rambo or butterfly style. Pigs always shake you down cause of the gutter lifestyle. It was really preparation nowadays for what we facing and defending against corpse nation. Don't be offended when we say we not black. Moors have a status, they can't make us a stat. Might be a ball cap, not a fez we rockin'. Moorish, more aboriginal, Moroccan. Don't be offended when we say we not black. Moors have a status, they can't make us a stat. Might be a ball cap, not a fez we rockin'. Moorish, more aboriginal, Moroccan.
Gotta bring the Empress, you know?
Yo, you gotta
bring
do
the
it,
Empress.
yo. You gotta do it.
Yes,
Do it.
so this is Anjana, and
Hi.
Omar.
Omar.
Yeah, we're just gonna start up right now. Now hit the door over. Oh.
Huh?
Now hit the door. Start. We just rise do our honors. 5 on the left, 2 on the right. Allah, the Father of the universe.
Allah, the Father of the universe.
Father of love.
Father of love.
Truth.
Truth.
Peace.
Peace.
Freedom. And justice.
And justice.
Allah is my protector.
Allah is my protector.
My guide.
My guide.
And my salvation.
And my salvation.
By night.
By night.
And by day.
And by day.
To His holy prophet.
To His holy prophet.
Noble Juali.
Noble Juali.
Islam.
Islam.
To be read in every meeting. Prophet warns all Muslims, governors, ordered to be read at each meeting. I hereby inform all members that they must put an end to all radical and agitating speeches while at their work, in their homes, or on the streets. We are for peace and not destruction. Stop flashing your cards at the Europeans, it causes confusion. Remember, your card is for your salvation. Failure to obey these orders will be of severe consequence. We are for love, truth, peace, freedom, and when these principles are violated, justice must then take its course. Any member or group of members that hold malicious feelings toward the temple or the prophet, or violate the divine covenant of the Moorish movement, will receive their reward from Allah for their unjust deeds. All true Moors will and must obey the law as laid down to them by their prophet. If they lose confidence in their prophet, they should turn in their cardon button, cease wearing their turban and fez, and return to the state where I, the prophet, found you. This is a holy and divine movement founded by the prophet Noble Juali. And if the prophet is not right, the temple is not right. The prophet therefore is sending out a divine plea to all Moorish Americans that they may do their part in protecting their prophet and the temple. This is an everlasting movement founded by the prophet through the will of Allah to redeem his people from their sinful ways. Noble Juali. To be proclaimed at every meeting. Islam. I'm glad to know that I have a few faithful Moors among you all, and I desire for them to know the truth and the divine truth. There is a host of jealousy about me and the movement now by the same people on our side of the nation that claim I was only a joke and unreal. But now, since they have found out from the government officials and the nations of the earth that this is the only sole foundation that all Asiatics must depend upon for their earthly salvation as American citizens, they are working every scheme they can to disqualify me, so they themselves may take charge of the situation. I have notified all these things to you long ago in the past. It is through the faithful Moors that attribute to the movement and uplifting funds, the ones that paid their divine respect to me and the movement will be remembered. That is why I am calling upon all faithful Moors to increase their faithfulness to me, your prophet, and your divine Moorish movement. I need finance and I need it badly. Never before have I needed finance so badly as I do at present, so I can shove aside the discord that is facing the nation. It all comes through jealousy because of my fame and nobility. The nations of the world will not recognize the movement without I, the prophet, being head. It has been proven by my works, which I have performed in the past few years. Prophet Noble Juali. To the members of the Moorish Science Temple of America, this is the instruction from your prophet Noble Juali. Be faithful unto your forefathers' divine and national creed, that you will be blessed for your good deeds that you sow in the flesh. Allah is the one that judges the world, and his judgment is now on, but the weak can comprehend it not. The end of time is drawing near, so says Allah to his divine prophet, I, Noble Juali. And that is why many hearts have been turned to stone. Many have eyes to see but cannot see, ears to hear but cannot hear, lest they would be confounded of their sins. These are trying hours now, dear Moors, and every evil spirit is moving, and they are trying every weak mind to overthrow and drag out the true foundation that has been laid, and to cause confusion in the minds of the ones that do believe. But if you have the true love of Allah and the spirit of your forefathers, you fear not what you hear or see, but will sacrifice the utmost of your very life to protect your movement and your prophet. Watch your enemies, dear Moors. Your enemies are the ones that speak against your prophet and ridicule him to the very lowest, and the ones that speak against your divine and national principles of your temples. Act accordingly, and Allah would bless you for your good work. Peace. Your divine prophet, Noble Juali. Islam. There was crazy questions, so we're going to address some of those, but before we do that, we want to make sure that we
watch that walk up off it.
that's right where I'm going right now. That's right where I'm going right now.
I want both of them.
So right now they have this campaign right now going on. They have this campaign going on right now called B.I.E. Black
What is this?
Black Identity Extremists.
Who's this?
FBI. That's who. And the so-called black community is up in arms because of this so-called FBI bulletin that came out. It was supposed to be released to the public or whatever like that, and then it this thing came out in the public, and it's basically saying that the people who classify themselves as black and relate black as an identity are extremists, and they're using all the Black Lives Matter stuff, and they're using all the quote-unquote extreme stuff that the Europeans are looking at like threat to the system, whatever like that, falls under this. So all the marching people, picketing people, laid on the street people, anthem kneelers and all those stuff, all those people are under this thing right here, right? So that came out, and then we got Waka Flocka came out, and he dropped this on these same people with this black identity crisis that they don't want to deal with. Because everybody knows, everybody who studies...
All three of the harmful foods I'm going to show you right now are labeled and marketed.
Everybody who studies knows that black is not an identity of a people.
Feel about everything going on.
Right? This is not Moore's biased opinion. Right? Waka Flocka even brought it up that being that he's, you know, up there as far as celebrity status, he gets to travel the world. And when he travels the world, nobody out there calls our people black. They only do that in North America. Nowhere else do they do this in the world. And keep in mind, track record, you know what I mean? He's Gucci's boy and all that stuff, so these guys are coming from gutter and all that, right? And came to, quote unquote, the marvelous light of truth, actually going out studying information or whatever like that, you know, turning vegan and all that stuff, got videos making vegan cupcakes for people to change their life or whatever. But, you know what I mean? They're going to say that he's a coon because he doesn't want to be black no more. They're saying that he's the sellout because, you know, he's separating himself from Africa because, you know, our people are African or whatever. So, it's about 4 minutes. We'll just take this in.
It's like a video game. It's literally like reality is TV, man. TV is reality. You know, sometimes you don't know what to think. Even like that thing that happened in Vegas. I was looking like, what's the plan behind that? Then you start looking in deep, man. People really got hurt there. Like, fuck who got a problem in the motor field? People really got hurt. You know what I'm saying? Like, even kneeling to that flag, like, I have no African descendant in my blood. I'm a Native American. So, literally, I'm a Cherokee, I'm a Blackfoot, I'm a Red-tailed Indian. That's what's in my blood. And the other is mixed with European. If somebody's saying, tell me not to kneel, you crazy. Like, y'all crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people in America is indigenous people. You're not from Africa. But that's a whole nother conversation. Like, that's crazy, man. For you to tell somebody, like, yo, stand up to this flag. Nigga, you know this flag did us? Like, when is going to come a time that these players is respected? You know what I'm saying? Like, even like Kaepernick. Like, for Shaw to even kneel down, bro, that's deep. That's deep. That ain't got nothing like black power. It's deep. That's human rights. Even though the girl got fired from ESPN, that shit made me
suspended 2 weeks ago.
It don't matter. That shit made me delete my ESPN app. That shit made me go to Infinity and unsubscribe now. That shit is foul. Like, that's crazy, bro. And it's in a black community. Since that's only black and white people that exist in America, by the way. If you say you black in Africa, they'll look at you funny. And if you say you're white in Europe, the Europeans will look at you funny. So at the end of the day, black and white people don't exist in America. So to tell the black community, like, that's crazy, man.
It seems like you think a lot about the way that we oversimplify racial identity in America.
Look, man, like, why are black people mad at white people? Why? What's the reason? I bet you get a room full of people and everybody will have a different answer. People from Mexico think they're Spanish. They're really Native Americans. They got conquered by the Spanish, but that's a whole nother conversation.
But people get caught up in the white-black thing, as you're pointing out. It's oversimplified. So we talk a lot about that. It's easy for people to pick sides, and then people can monetize and make money off of this conflict, because that's really what's happening.
Man, they using what help them. Period. They just using what help them. At the end of the day, people don't care about white and black. White and black date.
You know how cool it was to see Jay-Z and Fat Joe work together to go save people in Puerto Rico?
That was dope. That was great.
Don't forget that stuff. Part of that also, you brought in the idea of forget donate water filtration systems to people who have issues with quote unquote clean water. Don't be sending them water in bottles that we know cause cancer and all that stuff. We're sending that stuff over there when those people, all they need is a water filtration system. Take all that BS water that they got, put it in the filtration system, now you got clean water. And then that's gonna cost way less than all these mountains of water that there's, because they gotta pay pilot, guy to load the truck, the guys who load the plane. All these people gotta get something, but this is supposed to be humanitarian work. They're not getting paid to do that. It should be just something that they're doing because they want to do this. So he brought up the Mexicans are really, Spanish because they got conquered. But the Mexicans are really Aboriginal indigenous people. Now that's no different than what Taj Tariq Bey been put out. His book, the years this book been out, Moors are Mexicans. And then you don't hear anybody talk about this ever. And then all of a sudden, rapper guys coming and the reference point he's using is Moors are Mexicans. And Mexicans are Aboriginal indigenous people. And this is what this whole book is about and dealing with. Clearly he's been studying something relative to where we stand, right? Again, the concept of black people, white people, only exists in America. It only exists in America because, and when we say America, we're also talking about Canada too. We're talking about a colonial jurisdiction that is exercising certain rights that they really don't have the right to exercise. They're only exercising it based on the fact that the people choose to identify themselves as something that's not real. Excuse me. Right? Pieces. Yeah, man.
Just the book, the sign-in book.
It's over there.
All right. So, black identity, extremists, is really a misnomer. Because black's not an identity. Right? And the only thing black would identify is something's quote-unquote color. Right? Which really, it's going to be a description, not an identity. So, when our people are told by the FBI that they are quote-unquote black identity extremists, that's real. Because black is not an identity. And for somebody to take the position of taking a non-identity, so they could be Moors, or like Flocka said, Aboriginal. Right? They could be this, but they choose not to be this. They choose to be the fake identity that really isn't connected to our people at all whatsoever. To the people that are colonial or colonizing, yes, these people are extremists. Because they're trying to force something that's a fiction and make it a reality. And if anybody is trying to, if we grew up if we grew up and we're, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years old, and we're going with the fact that yes, Easter bunnies and stuff like that, right? People are not going to take you serious as an adult. If you're talking Easter bunnies and Santa Claus going down the chimney and all that stuff as an adult, they're not going to take you serious. No different than they're not going to take these people serious that's doing that. And if somebody is trying to, if you're coming to the realization that, oh yeah, there's no Santa Claus or whatever, and you're trying to push that, and somebody's trying to like demand that you believe in Santa Claus, and you have to believe in that because that's been going on for how much ever years, and we should be, then they're extremists. Because it's a fiction that they're actually trying to make into a reality. Right? There is never, ever, ever, ever going to be a black identity. Like there's never going to be a moment in time when this is going to be accepted as a reality if this exists. Because the world is looking at this as far as dark-skinned people. Aboriginal, indigenous people, Moors. People who don't study and are under colonial powers or under quote-unquote white supremacy or brainwash or whatever, they're going to talk about some FBI people, are attacking them. And, we know from COINTELPRO, program that, the United States government is against black people. And then they hate black people. And then they got police that shoot people with black people. And then they start going into their little emotional ranting about justifying why they're going through what they're going through without justifying that it's because you call yourself something that you're not. Right? So the FBI, we know Moors who the FBI have checked personally, knock their door, go to their job or whatever to go see them. And there was none of this stuff going on, saying that they're extremists. How you hear people talking about Moors and the sovereign citizen movement and all that stuff. FBI saw the ID, asked Moors some questions. They knew what they were talking about. Sorry about that, have a good day. FBI went about his business. They ain't bothering no Moors. One more was because of taxes. He didn't fill out some paper. They're coming to his job to find out what's what. And told them on the spot what it is. Oh, sorry about that. Didn't mean to come to your job, bother you, whatever like that. Actually, here's my number. Call me after so we can meet up and then we can talk about some more about this stuff that you're talking about. This is FBI people, right? Another Moor, he was dealing with a campaign against Moors with the whole sovereign citizen whatever, and he did radio shows, he spoke to newspapers or whatever like that. FBI went to check him at his house. I went to his house to go talk to him, FBI, and wasn't an issue. They knew exactly what he was talking about when he said that he was Moor, when he said he was Aboriginal, indigenous to the land, when he said that they didn't have jurisdiction over him or whatever like that. The only thing that they could come there and do is, what did he say? The only thing that FBI could come there and do and knock his door is to tell him that his mom died. Other than that, there ain't no reason for you guys to come knock my door. And they agreed with everything. They didn't turn anything down that he said. And again, once these people got visited, these Moors got visited by so-called FBI, after the visit, whatever stuff they were dealing with that the FBI came to check on was non-existent anymore. Didn't exist in the system. No more calls, no more letters, no more coming to visit, nothing like that. It was done. Because it comes back to that same thing that if you are not under the colonial powers, then you're not their ward. And if you're not their ward, then you're not their property. And majority of people by talking about United States government, government of Canada and all that, not knowing that these things are corporate entities, no different than McDonald's, Burger King, Walmart, or whatever like that. You can't be citizens of these. It's impossible that you're a citizen of this. Right? And again, it goes back to that thing of the extremists. Who's the real extremist? The real extremist is the one telling you that you can't reserve your rights on a contract. The real extremist is the one telling you that you're black. You guys aren't Moors. There's a bucket hat, take the hat off and all that stuff. Those people are the extremists. The ones who are trying to force you to conform to the way that everything's being laid down, when you should really be going against the grain, because what's being laid down is not based in truth, it's based in fiction. Black identity extremists. Shut this down immediately. Just say, oh, we're not black. And then that's it. There's no FBI anything right now. Because clearly they have a specific jurisdiction of people that they're going after. And then people are going to say, well, Moors are on the FBI list. Yeah, but Moors that are on the FBI list, one, are dirty Moors who were infiltrators of the Moorish movement. So the reason why there's a Moorish Science Temple of America FBI file is not because these people were investigating the Moorish Science Temple. It's because these people had agents that they put in there to bring information out. Right? So don't look at, you know, what they do to black people, and then you see they attempt to do that to Moors or do that to Moors, and then it's the same interaction. It's a different interaction. Because again, we know Moors. We use Brother Amari as example. Brother Amari had a warrant. Right? This is again going back to this whole same thing about, are we black people, or do these people know who we really are, and we have to be the ones to actually put it up there? Just like, you know what I mean, with Waka Flocka. It's straight to people. You guys think that, like, or no, you guys going nuts because I'm saying that I'm not African and all that stuff. You guys are tripping if you think I'm falling for your BS anymore. Because my grandma told me that we're red tail. Grandma said we're red tail. We're Cherokee and whatever. We're not black. You don't come over and slave ship and all that. So Brother Amari had a warrant. Wanted to cross the border. Because he had the warrant, they kidnapped him. So they kidnapped him, brought him back here, put him in a room, you know, so-called police asking him about, you know, how come he wasn't at court or whatever, right? They tell him, hold on, and then they leave the room. Then CSIS comes in the room, or, you know, Canada FBI. So CSIS comes in the room now, and then they got the binder. So you guys are Moors and all this stuff like that. And he's going through the stuff, you know what I mean? And he has like everybody's stuff in there. He has, they got documents in there, they got writs in there, they got pictures of people in there, they got YouTube stuff in there, they got everything in there. CSIS. Go through all that for him to realize that they know what's up. How do they know? Because the whole time they called him Amari El Bey. They didn't call him the name on the warrant. Now why would they have a name on a warrant that, okay, this is the guy that we're kidnapping, but then the whole time of their engagement they're addressing him not as the name on the warrant. Right? Because he had a different mindset than regular people who have warrants. Or they were really checking him to see if, you know, he is really who he says that he is. Let's check. We're not going to kidnap you and check. Just to see. how real it is. And then depending on how real it is going to depend on whether we let you go or not. Right? No different than the sister in Ohio that went to court, and they were adjourning the trial so much. The last judge that came on said, hold on a second, like, we're finishing this today. So, call the sister up, say, actually one question, this question is going to determine whether we kidnap you or whether trial's done today. Do you live in the county of Ohio or whatever county it is that she lives in? No, I don't. Case dismissed. Everything's done. We're talking about like 8 months of go to court, or stand on the square, oh sorry, come back on the next day. Come back, stand on the square, oh sorry, come back next day. That going on for months. And then one judge saying, okay, you know what? You say you're a Moor, let's just see if you really know what's up. You know what I mean? Moors know that they don't live, they don't reside, they don't whatever. They domicile as far as the place where they lay their head. So as soon as somebody puts out where do you live? And so, 555 85th Street. They already know that they got you because that's their jurisdiction. Because you're probably going to say, you know, postal code without brackets. You're probably going to say ON instead of Ontario territory. The fact that they said, where do you live? The response from the unknowing individual is going to be my address is, which again puts them in the jurisdiction because address has nothing to do with living people. Because living people domicile. Right? So this thing that's bubbling over right now, this identity crisis for our people that's bubbling over right now, has even, you know, known people talking how Moors talk. Now we're not just talking about like if you seen the Ludacris video, the new Ludacris song, and he has the red shorts with the green 5-point star on it. Right? And, you know, more emotional Moors, well, it's the shorts and it's the stars over his privates and disrespecting the flag or whatever like that. To people who are thinking or whatever like that, he's telling people messages. If they receive it, they receive it. If they don't, oh well, you know what I mean? You can't say that you weren't told. Right? And again, we're talking about, you know, Ludacris, he's been in movies and all that stuff. He's not some small-time individual, right? But, you know, that's different than actually verbalizing what is going down, right? So, average person would look at Ludacris and say, oh, that's just shorts, and no big deal. But they can't say Waka Flocka was, you know, pulling a charade or whatever like that. He was straight telling people, yo, we're not black. Like, what do you want? I'm about truth right now. I sold all my stuff, sold all my chains, sold all my cars, sold all my houses, all that stuff. Because I don't need all those stuff. I'm in a different place right now as far as who I am. Yeah, I'm a millionaire or whatever like that. I don't need 5 houses and all that. For what? Right? Sold all the stuff. People are mad, oh, he's a coon and all that stuff. He's, you know, he's forgetting about the hood and because he's saying he's not African, because he's saying he's not black. When that's an actual reality. Because he went and did the background check. He went to grandma. Grandma said, we're Cherokee. We're Aboriginal and Indigenous. We're from whatever tribe. And he also told them at the interview that majority of the people in here didn't come here from over Africa on a slave ship. And everybody's looking at each other like, what? You know? With the sister on ESPN, right? Jamel Hill, she came out. She just come out against some marching and some whatever like that. She said, this is Morocco over here. Like, there's no United States and all that. Right? Now she's ESPN celebrity. We're not talking music industry now. Now we're going to a different realm now of celebrity status, right?
Right. And she also said that, she also told Trump that his so-called wealth, that her melanin, is so, that he stole our wealth and that his wealth is not worth nothing, or even her melanin is worth more than that.
Right.
She said,
Than
fuck
whatever
boy.
wealth he's got.
She was going hard on Trump one.
Yeah.
And I posted that everybody's like, fake news. Even more are saying fake news.
Yeah.
Like, Trump already told you that establishment is fake news, so
Right.
what the fuck you guys talking about
About fake stuff.
fake stuff,
Right.
right?
But again,
When basically on Twitter, Trump was on her first, or
Yeah.
they're going back and
Yeah,
forth. So how come a back and forth argument now
now
because she came out
now
with the truth?
It's not real, yeah.
No, it's not real. Even more so it's like fake news.
Because
I'm
she's
like,
talking about Moors,
like,
it's not real now.
like
Yeah.
these people are so,
Everything else was real.
everything was real, but when
But as
she
soon
came
as
out,
she started talking about Moors,
Moors.
oh no, that's somebody made that up or whatever, right?
It seems like it's a certain wavelength going down, you know, because the celebrities, more and more celebrities just keep coming up talking about, you know, I'm not black and you know, it's like what's going on? Our people are just, you know, it's like a certain frequency that if you're on that frequency, you're gonna vibrate on that, and the ones that aren't, you know, they're just no, that's fake, you know, that's fake, no.
That's why B.I.E. the black identity extremist is an experiment. And the so-called black people are the lab rats for the experiment. They can play around like it's not them, but Moors know that they're the ones that everybody's looking at, figuring out how are we going to deal with this issue. Should we just nuke Cali? A lot of them are there, but we get rid of a lot of them and we just nuke Cali. You know what I mean? Should we, you know, have the FBI, you know what I mean, go round these people up? You know? Should we just murder them in the street? I mean, they don't do nothing anyways when you murder them in the street. It's not like they're going to expect something coming if they just start popping people. Bam, bam, bam. Oh, okay, he doesn't look like he's one of them. Bam, 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 bam. Oh, he doesn't look like he's one. You think that it can't happen like that? They're doing that right now. On camera. Police camera. And the people aren't realizing that obviously it's something with the people. Because nobody else is getting that. Nobody else is getting that attention. Where's the yellow identity one? And where's the white identity one? Because there's KKK, they're Europeans, they're extremists. But there's no KKK one. About neo-Nazis, they don't get... The only people who are under this so-called extremist experiment are the black people. And then they don't realize that they're the experiment. Right? It's not like black people are sitting back looking back, oh yeah, wow, they're doing an experiment on our people. How are we gonna... No, they're the experiment. They're the ones that in the test tube. And then the guy is the test tube, and it's black people in there.
No, I just want to add that when you're saying about the Amari thing with the warrant, right? I remember when I had my warrant and I went to the courts. It was on traffic stuff. And that's probably my second time. I was standing on my square, and the bailiffs and the highwaymen that were in the thing, they all attacked me and jumped on me, whatever, acting all wicked. You know what I mean? And then they found that I had a warrant, so they threw me in a cell downstairs in a holding cell. And an hour later, they let me out and told me to turn myself in whenever I want to. I'm like, what the just happened? I'm like, I already knew that, you know what I mean? Just by,
Stuff
you know,
was up, yeah.
I already knew that it's the truth. But then that was like, there's no way I'm supposed to be getting on a warrant. It doesn't even matter if I was just jaywalking. A warrant is a warrant.
Same thing with Amari.
Exactly. Like,
No guy have a warrant and you let him out the jail.
they told me specifically, turn myself when I want to.
Right.
It's like, wow.
And again, it's going back to this thing that, you know, like, the, again, Walker said, you know, people need to get the hell out of the matrix, stop playing around.
You see how people are attacking him like crazy?
Hard.
They call him a coon, they call him crazy. I'm like, wow.
Right? And that's their boy. That's not, you know what I mean, like somebody they don't like that came out and said something. That's their boy that's telling them, you guys aren't black or whatever. And now they're stabbing him in the back or whatever. They turn turncoat against him.
Yeah, that's why celebrities won't come out and say nothing, because
they
their
already
still
know.
people are going to lynch them.
Right? And again, going back to what his actions were as quote unquote a celebrity. Why is it that he can be so open to just come out with stuff? Because he doesn't have nothing to lose. He sold all the stuff. What are they gonna take away from him? Like if they, you know what I mean, blackball him right now. Like he's not gonna be a millionaire anymore. He's gonna be at some loss. No, he sold all the stuff. Whatever he did with the finance or whatever, who knows what he did with it. Based on his mindset, we know he did something with it. You know what I mean? It's not just blow the finance. Oh, well, I don't need this no more. Forget, sell all this stuff and then blow the finance again. It's not going to work like that. He's going to do something with it, right?
Imagine if he came out and said he was a Moor.
Right?
If we were Moor.
Right? Now, next level, that's next level now.
Because I know he knows what's up, because in the interview he said, is it like you want to say something?
Yeah,
it's like, man, I'm still studying, man.
Yeah, certain things.
He wanted to say something, but he didn't. He stopped himself from saying it.
With certain things, yeah.
And he said he's other or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's other. He
Like
didn't.
he wasn't tying himself
Yeah.
to the fiction.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? He was completely separating himself from the fiction. He even said, I don't even care what if the fans are freaking down with this or not or whatever. If you're not down with what I'm saying, forget you. If you're not down where we're at, then no need for me to even talk to people. Doesn't even make sense. So what's the sense of even talking? You know what I mean? Which is again where, you know, when Moors go there, people, oh, they don't like their people or whatever like that. Moors, no, it's not, it ain't nothing to do with it. They don't like our people. Right? It's that same thing, just like what he said. You know, okay, fine, yeah, I'm black, but I'm not black in America. Fine, okay, fine. You guys want to talk BS? Okay, fine. Moors are black. But don't even get it twisted that Moors are black from the perspective of what quote unquote, you know, U.S. qualifies black as when they relate it to people. It is not going to be the same as the average person out here that they just classify as black shooting the street or whatever. Right? There's different, you know, if we're gonna say that we're black, then there's different levels of black that we're connecting ourselves to. We're not just gonna go with what anybody says out there black is, then we're gonna tie ourselves to that. No, we're gonna be very specific if we're gonna identify as black. We're gonna put quote unquote over it, you know what I mean? Just like somebody came on, because we just uploaded one of the interviews as a common sense quickie. And the rapist, King Noble, came on there, talking about, well, he said that he's black. And then a Moor came on there, well, he's put quote unquotes in if he said that he's black. So if you put quote unquotes on something, that's not really where you're going. You know what I mean? But, you know, the black guys who used to be Moors and Grand Sheiks, and now they're not that because they have no honor with the Prophet or whatever like that, they're always going to come out and try to talk some BS to try to get, you know, like what Noble Drew Ali was saying, the weak-minded people to shift, even if it's a little bit. Just get the weak-minded people to shift off of this information and be on anything else. It doesn't even matter what it is. For their liberation, not for liberation, it's all irrelevant. You're not in the glass, right? Okay. Yeah. Right? Yeah, just pull the chair, just pull the chair up a little bit, just in case you get a laugh and push your head back.
Right? So anybody got any questions or anything right now?
I just want to add too that, like, I know I understand why Malcolm X and Martin Luther King and all the great leaders that came out as trying to fight for their people, why they could never come out and say they're Moors, because their own people are going to lynch them. Their own people. Forget about the European. All the great leaders, who killed them? Their own people. Assassinated their own people. Right? So it's like, you know that Martin Luther King, he knew, he was a Mason. He knows. There's no doubt about it. I mean, Malcolm X, he knew, that he said we're Aborigines. Right? So basically, all these leaders, they wanted to tell the people that they're Moors, but they couldn't, because they know that it's done for them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Especially back then. Right? Imagine now when we're still being attacked like that.
Yeah.
Even online, people are attacking me, calling me I'm a coon. I'm like, yeah, white power, straight good. You know what I mean?
Coon up, white power, all that.
All the white power.
Bring the outfit, we put the KKK stuff, all that. Right? Just leave the hand showing. That's what it goes.
Right across too.
Right? Shalimar Bay. I feel deep honor that you placed my video on YouTube, and doubly honored by your placing your great name on my video. Canaanland Moors present The Moors Are Waking Up by Shalimar Bay. I really look forward to meeting and visiting. You are providing much needed leadership for the rest of us to follow. I will continue to follow up and increase my demonstrations. I honor you and the awesome work that you're doing to uplift mankind. Would love to talk, collaborations, etc., etc. So, again, we have individuals, again, we use B.I.E Publications as our online university. If you want to know about Moors, if you want to know about Moorish history, if you want to know about law, if you want to know about driver's license fraud, birth certificate fraud, marriage fraud, mortgage fraud, noble jewelry, whatever relative to Moors, rvbaypublications.com. And individuals who have been successful in taking the information from this website and then applying it to their life are now coming up and talking about stuff. And we're talking about people, they've been studying this website 3, 4, 5 years, but they remain quiet just for the same thing what you're talking about, that as soon as they start showing the facts that, oh yeah, we got whatever court case dismissed, here's the court case transcript, case number, whatever. No, that's not whatever, right? Because the experimentations that have been done on our people to keep them in a dumb state of mind actually work. They don't want to admit it. People who have sound mind, they can look at the conditions of Negro, black, colored people and know these people are brainwashed. There's not even going to be a question about it to them. I guarantee you, go to every single so-called black community, you're going to see every single so-called black individual in that community going to who they would consider enemy to get everything that they need for their survival. And then Moors are saying, well, instead of going to the European, we're going to go to Hindu man over there. We're going to go to the Arab guy over there. Oh, you guys race traders, oh, no, we're Asiatics. Only one race as far as we're concerned. Right? We don't play the double standard. Right? If we say Moorish hospital, trust me, there's not going to be no black doctors in there. There's not going to be no black nurses. There's not going to be no black patients in there. You better be Moor, just like you better be Jew when you go to Jew hospital. Jew hospital got other people in there other than Jews. Right?
It doesn't work like that. Just because. That's their stuff. But then, you know, when we get our own stuff, or people don't want to, how about just say that you're Moor, then you could come to the stuff. Like, what? Why you want to stay black? And then when we build something, oh, you want to be part of that because it says Moor on there. Well, all the stuff that you've been saying that's black hasn't done nothing for you. So when you go to that, support all these who call artists or whatever like that, that, you know, they take all their finance and they're giving it to Gucci and Prada and they're giving all these Europeans or whatever, right? They got the biggest homophobe complex ever, but they got Gucci on. And they got all these homo dyke people's clothes on. But you know, they don't like gays and they're homophobic and whatever. But you're wearing the stuff, like what? Which is it? Right? Like you can't do the both, right? Just like with Moors. You can't say, I'm a Moor, but then all your boys are Negroes. You're the only Moor around Negroes. Sis, if anybody else has questions, please throw them up.
Why can't that work?
Because of the status issue. Because quote unquote black people are in a specific status. So for us to be like, okay, let's just say let's just say raid somewhere, right? Kick the door in and they're gonna raid, right? Guaranteed, you know, we're not talking about it's just whatever's happening there, you know what I mean? It's not nothing illegal or whatever. Police just raid someplace and there just happens to be different people there, right? The people who have a quote unquote status, they're gonna, you know, call their embassy or whatever like that, and then those people get whisked out the way. You're not gonna hear what happened to them, right? Majority of those people are gonna be the international people who were here and they came from somewhere else. So after we get those people out, then the only people left is us and Europeans, as far as North America, right? Everybody else is gonna go back to wherever it is that they came from. Now, the European part of it, they're gonna play this game like they're home over here. And start saying they're American, they're Canadian, whatever like that. They're not gonna say I'm British, I'm French, I'm whatever, so they can get sent back to where they're supposed to go back to, right? Because they know if they go back there, with what's going on here, the minds of the people waking up, they're gonna go to Europe and not have a home either. There's Moors over there waking up, beating the Europeans up over there. That they're not gonna try to play that we're black and we're whatever over there, right? So when you get to the status, you wanna get free white in there. So when you get to the status, the black status and the white status has nothing to do with skin complexion, right? There's no tie to how you look. When someone says black people, white people, our people think that, but that's not a reality to the world. Just like
who taught us that though?
Say it again.
Who taught us that we're black and white?
Majority of it was our people, because when we look at you know, the people who we say we follow, right? The Black Panthers, they were for black power and all that stuff, but they were really about human rights. They weren't doing black, white, or whatever. That's how people took it, because they didn't really get what was going on. They didn't really get that they were exercising a constitutional right. You know what I mean? But in order to exercise constitutional right, you have to be a citizen. But the Black Panthers were talking that they're against being citizens of the United States because that's the enemy. So what were they citizens of? Because they weren't citizens of no black nation or nothing like that. What were they claiming? They were claiming that this is their land. Right? Malcolm X. We didn't land on Plymouth Rock. Plymouth Rock landed on us. What's he telling people? You know what I mean?
if we say the CN Tower landed on us, what are we saying? That's a question I'm putting up.
Yeah, here. I'm here and it's following me.
You're saying that the corporation came in and put their stamp on us.
On us. Right? So we don't have to tie ourselves to them. Now, again, going back to the thing with status, that status is going to determine a multiplicity of lanes or layers or avenues, right? So if we look at quote-unquote job status, you'll have Asiatic from somewhere that's not here, right? And then you'll have an Asiatic from America. Both of them have the same job. Both of them work the same hours. But the Asiatic not from here, he has a house, 2-car garage, children's in daycare or whatever like that. You know what I mean? Wife's working, whatever like that. They're comfortable. The person who has the same job as him that looks like us, they're living in Toronto housing. They're on some subsidy, rent, whatever like that. They can't even put food in the fridge, much less clothes on their back, but they got Jordans, and they got freaking $8,000 hair, and they got all these things that, but they say that they have nothing. Like, so what is it? Oh, it's their status. Because with the status of a minority, when you have a minor mind, if you think like a child, you act like a child. Who's most fascinating with things? Children. You put 5 things in front of a child, they don't know what to do. No different with our people. That dudes have shoe boxes to the ceiling with 2 feet. And then it's going down the wall, and then down that wall, and then down this wall. 2 feet. You know, but you know, how come we don't have anything? What is it? Because our status. So when we say that you know, what can, okay, another perfect example of status. There's this Moor that we know that's quote unquote from Puerto Rico, right? Now we tell this story all the time just to stress the point of how important status is. He got arrested with 3 other quote unquote Puerto Ricans. He said, I'm not Puerto Rican, I'm a Moor. So they took him and they put him over here, and they're like, okay, we're not going to deal with you. We're going to deal with your boys right here. And then they started giving out the tickets. One guy got 2 tickets. And when he's questioned, how come I get 2 and all of them got 1? This is the police talking now. Police said, we can't give that guy 1, so you get 2. Why? Because he said that he's a Moor, which excluded him from the status of being a ward or a slave or a property where these people could do whatever it is they want. Whether they stop you on the street, go in your pockets, or, you know, take your shoes off. Let me check your shoes, see if you got guns in your shoes. What are you talking about? What kind of gun are you talking about? AK-47. You want to take my shoes off? You want to check my shoes for an AK-47? Okay, well, you just admitted to the jurisdiction that AKs could fit in shoes. Which is incompetent. If you're that incompetent, we need to get you off the streets right now. We can't have you around here with the normal people, right? If Kingman's shirt is black and then he doesn't look like his shirt, and he said, yeah, I'm a black guy, you guys can't do this, you guys always doing this stuff to black people or whatever like that. And then they're looking at him, they're looking at his shirt or whatever. You really think that they're taking him serious? Immediately, they're going to find some reason. Oh, he went in his pocket, grab him or whatever like that. You know what I mean? Anything. just so they can, you know, get him to, you know, do like this. And then they say assault on officer because, you know, the shirt dragged off this guy's shirt. Officer's shirt and your shirt touch, and that's assault on officer. You get time for that. But because of status. You know what I mean? So we're trying to get our people to realize that don't get mad at Moors that we don't like black people and we don't like Africans. That's not really what's going on. We know Africans that say they're not African. So nobody in America could tell me that they're African if the people from there don't say they're African. I'm not buying it. I don't think the rest of the world is going to buy it either. But for whatever reason, which we know is the brainwash of our people, or their status of being a minor or a minority, which again has nothing to do with their numbers, it has to do with their mindset. When they say news broadcast, the minorities and the minorities marching downtown or whatever like that, they're saying the children are marching downtown. The minors, the wards, they don't mean a small group of people are making a statement because they're a minority. And the majority of the people is everybody who's not marching with them. Or they're the minority because their mind is like a child. And once you have a mind like a child, then you act like a child. And when you act like a child, then you get disciplined, you're going to get mad when you get your ass bust.
In one of the dictionaries, they don't even say child, they say infant.
Infant, yeah.
Infant.
Yeah.
Not even child.
Thank you for the correction.
Child too big.
Infant.
Infant. Not too big.
Infant. Right? So it's not a thing of we dislike or don't, or, you know what I mean? We have a problem with our people or whatever. We know that by identifying yourself as black, you put yourself in a status that allows anybody to be able to do anything to you. And once you put yourself in that status, it's hard to get out of it because you put yourself in there. As I was saying about, you know, who did that to us? Our own did that to us. That's why it's so hard to get out of it, because, you know, if the European did it, it should be nothing to get out. If European did it, then we just counteract what he did with what we, and then we just get out. But when you start realizing that, hold on a second, so all these people out there, they call themselves African American or whatever, and then majority of people say, well, the European did that because they want to. No, Jesse Jackson did that. He's a brother. It's a documented fact that he made up that term. The world knows that. Right now, you know, remember that so-called Canada is, you know, quote-unquote, a state of over there. So if it's there, don't worry, it's going to be here eventually. If it starts going up, that's why we have a Dundas Square, they got Times Square in New York, because this is
same state.
It's the same stuff. It's just a smaller version. You know what I mean? Washington Monument, the CN Tower. Like this is what has been going on, right?
NAACP over there. Now we have our own.
Right. Now we have our own Negro whatever over here. When, you know, half these people in the quote unquote, you know, woke community or whatever, here, they're not even supposed to be where they are right now. Because we came up when the school of thought when the school of thought had momentum. And we're talking about top of the line scholars coming here. From every single subject, you name it, whatever, they came here to do a lecture. Now, if these people came and they brought out this information, and our people who are supposed to be the ones that are gravitating to this information most because it's about them, if we don't want our own stuff that's presented by our own, then what's anybody else going to present for us or give us or whatever? And again, why hasn't the so-called, you know, West African whoever's that these people say they came from a slave ship, how come those people never said, hey, come on back or whatever? How come they never sent the boats over so these people get on the boat and go back to Africa where they're from? Because they came here as slaves.
You know what happened?
If slavery's over, then they should be able to go back where they came from since slavery's over. Right?
You know what happened
Good,
now?
Lord.
Okay, put it this way. The Syrian slavery will come from over here. Now, those brothers come over here. You know what they're surprised? when they come look for us now, say for example they come from Africa, come over here now, Nigerian come over here to see his brothers now, they come find them, they've been black, they're different.
Yeah.
They're different now. He's not my brother no, he's black.
Yeah. Exactly.
Friday, there's my son. Timon is at Jane and Finch. A pregnant lady and her husband from Nigeria. Meet me at the cash. See what happened. We start a conversation. They say, see, I don't pay no tax because I'm not black. I claim what's mine. And that's why we have a conversation going. And he's saying to me, that's right, because if I see, that's why even Jamaicans, he said, sometimes I can't even talk to them. I'm trying to tell them you're not. You're not black.
And they're not even here.
And they think he don't want to.
Yeah, he don't want to be black.
You come from Africa and you're trying to disown me. Trying to disown me.
He's better. You know,
yeah,
African,
like,
you're a black guy.
Yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy.
But when really, that's what it is though.
That's what it is after.
That's really what it is.
The man and his wife hug me. See, there's my son. You should take pictures. Hug me like brothers, family.
Yeah, yeah.
Have a good day.
Yeah.
Could never get that with a black guy.
Never.
Never.
And it's nothing personal against black people.
No.
It's their status.
Yeah.
Their status casts them into the lowest realm of society. And mainly because the average person could look up black, realize that it's everything negative, and they don't want nothing to do with that. Especially on themselves. You know what I mean? They'll say, you know, black cat, you know what I mean? Black finger from whatever, toes, black cousins falling off or whatever like that. But they're not putting that on themselves. You know? What do you say, Mark?
Oh, I'd say, yeah, they'll just argue on the front of ignorance and say, it's racist, why everything black is negative, but won't clue in and say, that's not me, and I shouldn't attach myself to that title.
Exactly. Bamani L. Islam, peace and love. A large percentage of us are coming into nationality and birthrights with baggage, i.e. warrants, tickets, fines, etc. A lot of people, policy enforcers, dirty Moors, etc. feel like we use this to avoid taking responsibility for these fines and fees. Yes, most of us have accumulated a lot of baggage unknowingly of the fraud going on before we became or become proclaimed Moors. I could care less what others think, but what is the remedy for this accumulated baggage, if there is one? During traffic stops, these charges come up, tied to a corporate fiction name and sometimes a picture when policy enforcers run plates. How do we handle that, especially after we have shown them our nationality or right to travel cards with our new appellation? Any advice on how to remedy that? You want to hit free white?
Yeah. Free white person. Free white person refers to in the Naturalization Act as amended by Act July 14th, 1870, as meaning naturally given to it when first used in 1 Stat 103C3, meaning all person belonging to the European race, then commonly counted as white, and their descendants, including such descendants in other countries to which they have immigrated. It includes all European Jews, more or less intermixed with people of Celtic, Scandinavian, Turonic, Iberian, Latin, Greek, Slavic descent. It includes Magdars, includes the mix. It includes Magnars, Lapps, Finns, and Basque and Albians. It includes the mixed Latin, Celtic, Iberian, and Moorish inhabitants of Spain and Portugal, the mixed Greek, Latin, Phoenicians, and North African inhabitants of Sicily, and the mixed Slav and Tartar inhabitants of South Russia. It does not mean Caucasian race, Aryan race, or Indo-European race, nor the mixed Indo-European, Dravidian, Semitic, Mongolian people who inhabited Persia. And it goes on into case laws.
Right? Okay, so the status of free white people does not mean Caucasian race, Aryan race, Indo-European race. People who we're talking about when we say white people, we talk about Caucasians, and then, you know, then we talk to the say Aryan. Right? White does not mean these people. It means people who are intermixed with Jews who are Moors, even though they say European there or whatever, don't get caught up. Right? Moorish inhabitants, Spain, Sicily, whatever like that. But the point is that if their quote-unquote status is free white, they have to be intermixed. And if there's two races on the planet, Europeans and Asiatics, and free whites have to be intermixed, it's not going to be with the people who are not included. The intermix is going to be the people who are the ones that have the quote-unquote land or the sovereignty or whatever, that these people want to be part of it. So in order for them to be part of it, they have to mix or they have to blend in, and then now they can inherit. Which is why the story of Pocahontas and she saving the European
Because she loved
loved the European or whatever, right? And then they threw overboard the ship because he already mixed in. They already had everything that they were gonna be able to get in order for them to come back over here and do everything else as far as the plan
And get rid of her.
to make sure
And get rid of her.
sure that they have somewhere. Because remember, we're talking about a time, when we talk about the time of slavery or whatever, always keep in mind, as soon as somebody brings up slavery, at the exact same time in history, Europeans were enslaved to the Moors. So there's no way that they were in boats bringing people over here when they were being enslaved. It doesn't even match up, right?
I just want to add as well, because when it says all these cultures now that are Celtics and people are attach them to European-looking
Right,
people because
yeah.
now that's what they see on the
That's
TV.
what they see now, yeah.
But in every of those European cultures they called, if you go back to the Aboriginal people of that land, they're dark-skinned
Right.
people, right? Europe is named after Queen Europa, just to show you that.
In Europe, yeah.
Yeah, the Europe name is after a Moorish queen. So when they say these all these European countries, they're really talking about Moors, because if you go in Germany and Spain and most of these places, you still see our stuff there.
Everything's there.
They just adopted our stuff or straight up hijacked it. You know what I mean?
Is this?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm asking when you say mixing, you mean like for instance, mixing with like the indigenous Mexicans because they own the land at the time, right?
Well, we'll just say the indigenous
Like
people.
as an example.
Yeah, we'll just say the indigenous people. So, if you look at majority of the whole the concept of European colonization in Americas, right? It was never the dark-skinned males getting the European women pregnant. As far as for them to mix. You know what I mean? It was always the European male going after the woman that was Asiatic. Because how you inherit is through the mother. So once they, and it goes back even into slavery, they'll, rape them in the barn and all that type of stuff or whatever like that. It's all the same concept of them having to graft themselves into an existing culture so they can have one.
So will their children be free? Or Moors?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, I thought
Yeah.
if it was
But
European.
you know, but
So-
yeah, yeah. Right. So this like so when
That's why they're
right. Right. So like when we look at that dynamic of the quote unquote mixing, that's why in slave times they would do this thing of one drop of black blood makes you a nigger. And any European, if they had one drop of black blood or whatever, they're not European. They're not looking at them as they're European, no matter how they look. They could be pale. But let them find out they got niggas.
different story.
They're not part of the crew anymore. You know what I mean? They're gonna get treated just like the black guys. Like same way, like it's not even gonna be different. But it's gonna be European. So then when we go into the so-called modern time, those exiled or quote unquote niggerish Europeans are now trailer park trash. The exiled, the Europeans that they don't deal with. The Europeans who we grew up on the block like, oh yeah, he could say nigger because he listens to hip hop. he doesn't count as them, you know what I mean? He used to call me, he knows how to jerk chicken and stuff like that. He's not no European, you know? They come on this side. So, you know, it's the slope, because of the slope being slippery with regard to this whole thing with race or whatever like that, it's probably best for, you know what I mean, self-preservation, you know what I mean, opposed to, well, there's no good black man or no good black woman, go somewhere else and go whatever. And then the other place they go is always European. They never go to other Asiatics, which again is, you know what I mean, like brainwash mentality. Because you got lots of women from other nations other than European that, you know, how the European looks at the black man, they look at the black man like that too. It's not just Europeans that are salivating over a black, oh my God, you gotta get a black guy. Like other races are doing that, have that same mindset. You know what I mean? But, you know, which one is the closest to the source? You know what I mean?
Why are they like that? Why do these, what is so fascinating about black men to these European women? Why they, you guys are, the black people are considered slaves, right? Went through slavery, whatever, their ancestors hate them. Their ancestors hate the blacks just as much as they do.
Remember, that's just, because remember that idea of hate the black people is a real small pocket. Mm-hmm. Majority of people love us. Mm-hmm.
So
the majority of people, like, they love us, right? But that's the thing, because they love us. Like when you look at the European women, for example, from a psychological perspective, they're living out what their so-called ancestors lived out in the harems when the Moors had them as concubines or whatever, right? You know, it's like what they say now, side chick, right? Yeah, you know, like back then, Becky was the side chick. Like the Moors had the freaking castles with the women and all that stuff, like their own 50 wives. Mm-hmm. What do you need these Europeans for? For what? Like what was the well, you know, because they weren't going to enslave the women. They had to do something with them. They weren't going to enslave them though. They were going to do it like they did the men. Remember, go check the record. When they go raid a ship of Europeans that are just sailing in the Mediterranean or whatever like that, they take their ship, they take the men, everything like that. These guys need to pay a ransom. If there's a woman, she's not going into no slavery or whatever. She's going into harem. And then they're going to sell her that way. You know, other sultans, whoever like that, they need, you know, 10 women for their whatever like that. Oh, we got them right here. You know what I mean? We just washed them down and all that stuff. Like, you know what I mean? They're good to use. You know, because they're not going to do that with their own. You know, they're not gonna treat the mother like that.
You know what I mean? You think that, matter of fact, you think mother's gonna let them have them in some harem? Think some sister's gonna be down with, oh yeah, let's go, yeah, put me in the harem. Probably not.
No.
Probably not. Matter of fact, she's over here doing her business. Oh, well, you do whatever you want to do over there. We're going to be over here doing our own stuff. Just like they do today. You know what I mean? Man's going to have the little, man cave or whatever. No woman cave. Women don't have. How come there's no woman cave? No women that go, you know what I mean? Do their own little whatever. Doesn't exist. Because woman cave is society. Woman cave is in the kitchen or go to a friend's house or whatever. They're not block-minded how we are, like, you know what I mean? You gotta have these little, they're very open with, they're meeting up, they're doing whatever like that. Like, it's not as closed-minded as the males are. Which is, again, why you didn't have, like, Brother Osiris Bay, Travis Blackman, had a poem where he was talking about this. You never hear a hoe bringing 10 of her friends for one man to please all of them. Like, you never hear train with sisters running train on one dude. Like, it doesn't even come to mind to do that. Because they're on a different plane. Like, it's not even relative. Right? Back to the accumulated baggage. So Noble Ali told the Moors that old business, stay as it is. New business, do it in your free national name. So when we look at tickets, warrants, etc. If you have these things prior to you coming to this information, it's in your best interest deal with those things first before you get on this side. Because once you flip-flop, if you will, they're going to look at it like, well, we have this old stuff that says that you're whatever, and they're going to go back to that every time, just because it's there. Regardless of what you said or whatever like that, they're always going back to the same. Which is why when we tell Moors about their proclamation, we're telling it from the perspective that you are who it is that you say you are first. So if you're Negro, black, colored, you come into this concept that you're a Moor, then you're gonna have to let people know out there that you made this transition. You're not gonna say, I was black yesterday, I'm Moor today, and now, you know what I mean? Oh yeah, I have a shirt, I'm not black, I'm Moorish American, so I'm Moor, and then everybody's gonna leave you alone. Or you put a fez on, and then everybody's gonna, or you can wrap a turban, that means that they're not gonna bother you.
Or you have a Facebook page.
Yeah, you have a Facebook page that says L on it. It's not on the license, but just check my Facebook page and you see the L there, that means I'm Moor. That's not a reality. You know what I mean? So you have to let these individuals who you've been dealing with, that you got these warrants and whatever with, the quote-unquote baggage, you put them on notice of where it is, where you are right now in your mind, based on this paperwork that you're sending them. You're not just sending it to them, you're CCing it to them, their boss, their boss's boss, their boss's boss's boss, whoever else that you think needs to know that you're going through this process of correcting your status. However they deal with you, you'll deal with that when you get there. So we're not even saying you're doing this so that when you deal with them, now they're going to, no, we're not even going there. You're doing this because first in your mind, you know you're not Negro, black, colored. If they've been assuming that I've been Negro, black, colored for the past, you know what I mean? I'm 40 years old, found this information when I'm 30. So 30 years of my life, they told me that I'm Negro, black, colored. There's not going to be no 10 years of you being a Moor that these people leave you alone if they've been calling you black for 30. Like there has to be an equivalent time of you being in the new status that's gonna cancel out the old status. So one of the things that Moors do, for example, is when they start going through this transition, they start keeping mail. Because if the people that you're engaging are really serious about nationality and rights and human rights and whatever like that, they will reply to you in the name that's the Moorish name, not the name that they have in their system, right? So now you have that as evidence that, oh, well, office of the whatever knows me as this name. Bam, you have that as evidence. Somebody else sends a mail. You know, somebody sends you something in the mail for, 10 years ago you had a credit card or something like that. All of a sudden these people pop up, oh yeah, we got the money now or whatever. We haven't heard from you in 10 years. We just got your new address, so we're just sending you this or whatever. You're in the mindset of a Moor. You're going to write them as a Moor. You're not going to write them as who got the card. You're going to write them as a Moor, and then they're going to reply either to the Moor or to the name that was on the card or whatever like that, and then they're going to say whatever it is that they say. Based on what they say, then, then you deal with them again, because it's never going to be interaction with them like one-on-one. It's always going to be you interacting with something out there that's using this office, building, name as a front, and bet you there's some European CEO hiding behind the front. And then their purpose of being there is to make sure that you don't have access to your birthright. Their purpose is to make sure that you stay Negro, black, colored, and they stay white, free white person. Because they jacked their status. And they gave you the black status, and then the black leaders jump on the black status like that's really what it's about. Then everybody's, well, there's black leaders, we're going to go with them. Then they jump on the black thing, give up their birthright. The Europeans over here with the white status, free in the land, going there, taxing people, have a government, doing all this stuff. And the people whose stuff it really is, they're complaining, well, those guys are racist. How about you just claim your name back, claim your status back, and then start being what these people are pretending to be. Because you can't have, two people playing the same, right? Somebody's the imposter if the real Moors stand up. The fake Moors are going to have to take a chill, go in the back, and stop talking, whatever, because the Moors are here now. All right? But don't get into, because you're going to go study, you're gonna talk to Moors, whatever like that, and you're going to get information. You're going to have a body of information that you could probably use to get out of whatever situation you're in. Guaranteed it'll probably work once you apply this stuff. But if that's why you're getting into this information, then it won't work. If you're getting in just to get out of stuff but not to know anything else about what this has to do with, just to get out of your whatever, it's probably not going to work.
I just want to also add that people come with information. I'm not going to lie, I came in on the information because I had baggage.
Yeah, but the majority of us, yeah. Like, that's right? Real. Yeah.
But after I got deeper, I realized that this is a divine movement. It's not just about being able to, it's not about technicalities of getting other stuff. It's not like how they make it look like, you can get out of cases because of technicalities and wordplay and stuff. No, what I realized is it's a divine movement, and that the ancestors is guiding and protecting Moors that are active. Then it just makes sense that just do your part and the ancestors will take care of the rest.
Right?
As simple as that.
So for example, when the statement's made, during traffic stops, these charges come up tied to the corporate fiction names, and sometimes a picture, policy enforcers run the plates, blah, 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 right? Them having this mindset that I'm a Moor, you shouldn't have any of the other instruments on you at that point.
Because you already know that that's what these guys are gonna do. As soon as they, you got some type of connection to the corporate thing that you're trying to get out of, or we're just gonna use that against you, right? Case in point, when I was exercising right to travel, and they pulled me over, and I didn't have the license, and I didn't have the insurance, and I didn't have the ownership. Their perspective was, well, the thing that you're giving me is not real. We're not accepting that as identification or whatever, right? We're not going to accept that, right? Whatever it is you have, where you got it, we don't care. We're not accepting that. We need license, right? When they couldn't get all those things, they went to the birth certificate. Now this is on the street. You know, since when they go there? Like if you don't have license, whatever like that, impound, and then that's that. What more ID they asking for? If license expired, they're not asking you, oh, let me see your birth certificate because your license expired. Right? They just go on the fact the license expired, that's a violation of highway travel or whatever like that, and they do whatever it is they do. Why they go to this extra length about, well, you know, since you don't have those three, you know, let's go to the next one on the list, see if you have that. Right? Because all of it has to do is them trying to tie you back in after you proclaim that you're out. Right? They always want to try to reel you back in. They're always going to pull up some stuff 10 years ago or whatever. You know what I mean? Even when we look at Brother Lanray, that, you know, he's going through a case having to do with a license that was expired in 2002. But they're talking in 2017 that this expired license is suspended. So he can't drive on it. He can't use it because it's suspended. Well, it was expired in 2002. How come you guys not bringing that part up? Like, why is 2002 not in the discussion on the court floor? Right? And again, when the brother had his situation is based on after he came into this information. After he came into this information, when they started bothering him. Before everything was cool, when he was a black guy, it didn't even matter. But as soon as he said, standing up on this square and, you know what I mean, challenging them, and I'm not taking no breathalyzer, who are you guys or whatever, now they want to kidnap him and do whatever that they want to do, right? Again, based on the same thing that, you know, with his situation, regardless of what stuff came out, like regardless of what he was dealing with as far as, you know, charges or parole or whatever, regardless of what he was dealing with, he knew in his mind that he wasn't any name on any paper that these guys have. Because he knows that they're not going to use his free name on any papers. Especially if they're attacking him. Right? Until, you know what I mean, he started pressing them to the point of, that's not me, that's not me, that's not me, call me this name, that, you know, now, you know, prosecutor, judge, whatever, Mr. B.I.E. They don't even call him by the name that's on the paper. They even changed the court records now to reflect B.I.E. on there.
Yeah, because I saw when you posted it.
Yeah.
You know, when you go inside the courtroom and they have your name.
Right, yeah, yeah.
This is Laundry
yeah.
Bay.
They had B.I.E. there.
B.I.E.'s there, yeah.
You know what I mean? Right? And the only reason they had B.I.E. there is because anytime he deals with them, that's what he gives. He's not giving no other whatever. Regardless of what they say. You're getting Aboriginal Indigenous identification. Whether you want to do it or not, that's up to you, but that's what you're getting. What do you guys decide to do because I give you that? Then hey, do whatever you do, but know that you're not going to make me be anything other than who it is that I am. Right? Swords of Allah. So I just want to know, do you teach Moorish law is UCC, common law, universal, or do you teach Moorish law is contained in the doctrine the Prophet Noble Drew Ali gave us. Because I see the infiltration all over, not accusing anyone. I'm also confused by your action. First you said you won't answer me because Facebook has L capitalized. Then you said you only answer questions via email, which I think, in my opinion, are both subversions to keep information from the public. Are you hiding something? Is it merely because you get a lot of questions? Can you please break down the meaning of theocracy, a religious corporation, and political subdivision? Yeah, you can look up theocracy there. So do we teach Moorish law is UCC common law? Theocracy. Theocracy. Do we teach Moorish law is UCC common law, universal, or do we teach Moorish law is contained in doctrine the Prophet Noble Drew Ali gave us? We definitely don't teach that Moorish law is UCC. We definitely do teach common law, because common law comes from natural law, which comes from universal law. Hence, why we say everything's universal with our teachings. But there's no UCC connection whatsoever to, as far as the Great Seal, Moore's Order of the Round Table, Clock of Destiny, allodial Moors. We don't teach Moorish law is UCC. We do teach Moorish law is contained in the Prophet Noble Drew Ali's teachings because, one, we have a constitution, which is laws, that was brought by Noble Drew Ali, so he taught law. We have a holy book, Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple, which is quote-unquote scriptures, which is spiritual law, universal law, divine law, whatever you want to classify it as, but the law that you can't escape when you try to violate it, right? Because of now the infiltration that one sees all over is really the Moors who came into this Moorish movement with intentions of making sure that it stays out of the public's mind, one, and two, that if it is in the public's mind, it's there from a religious perspective, which would keep it out of the people's mind. Because our people don't want nothing to do with religion, especially now, today. So when you hear people put out there, they make a video and they tell, oh, Moors are religious, and they say Allah, and they say whatever like that, and they try to get people's mind in this place that what Moors are presenting is religious. Know that that's, quote-unquote, political subdivision. That's people trying to make the Moorish movement look like something they shouldn't be supporting, because it's coming from a perspective of religion, or something not common to their mindset, that they're going to that they're going to relate it based on what it is they were taught by their masters, or what they were taught by the enemy. It's not going to be based on what they went and researched for themselves. So, when people send questions talking about can you please break down meaning of this, meaning of that? Did you say meaning of something? That's why there's dictionaries. But we already know niggers don't read. So we have the dictionary right here, right? And then we let people read it for the dumb people who don't want to read. So that they can have the meaning. So now you can't say that, well, I don't want to go with that, or you just got the meaning. The meaning is going to be reflective of what it is you're supposed to do with the word.
They'll use, that came out, that version right there, let's go to the other version.
Right, yeah, right? Don't use that one, use some other dictionary or whatever, right? And remember that certain people, when we read messages, like for example, this individual, this is somebody who, they were on Facebook with the all capital letters L, right? So know that on these social media or whatever like that, that people are gonna get restricted when it comes to certain things. Certain things, you know, once you do something, you might not be able to go back and change it or whatever, right? So I was calling out this individual about their all caps L, because they were making reference to, we were, as far as Canaanland Moors, we got our charter from Aline Bay and Jelani Bay, and these people gave us our charter, and why we lying to the people saying somebody else gave it to us or whatever like that, blah, blah, blah. So I initially told the individual, well, you know, if you're really serious or whatever, send a message to the inbox. We didn't even get to the email part yet. So send a message to the inbox. No message, kept going on about the BS, going on about the BS. I was like, all right, cool. You know what I mean? Let me just go to the source. Email Bay. Tagged him in it. Email Bay came on the thing, said, oh no, that's not right or whatever like that. Cujo never got nothing from us or whatever like that. They were just going to our classes or whatever. They already had a charter already when they came to our classes and stuff. Jumped from that into talking about some other BS. After, of course, their claim got destroyed. Right? Propaganda that they tried to spear got destroyed, so they come up with a whole new thing. Right? Now, the reason why it was said to send the email was because I already didn't get a message. So I already know that this is one of these Moors out here who live on Facebook. That's the only place where there are Moors. They're not Moors in the world. They're only Moors in social media, Twitter, YouTube, whatever like that, and that's it. Other than that, they're not Moors out in the real world. So the concept of send the email, as people know who send emails, is so that we can put stuff on the record so that people can be clear. Because you're not going to learn something on some Facebook or whatever, because there's Moors on Facebook, so, you know, they leave comments, so that means that's what it is. That's not real. Send a message. You want to know something about somebody or ask a question or whatever. You don't put question in a post and then you have 50 billion people coming on there to comment, right? And then now, how they have the thing set up where, you know, like, comment, and then you can reply, and then once you reply on this, then all the comments that are in this thing, you know, you have to push view more or whatever to see what the hell's there. When you could actually just, you know, somebody has a comment, the next guy puts a comment, the next guy puts that, and then you could just have a long thing of just all the comments on Front Street. So nobody has to go search, hunt, you know, whatever like that, look for stuff, because again, you're talking about a propaganda campaign that they're not going to let the good information be out. They're not going to, it's not just going to be out there. You know what I mean? Again, even with if you say, okay, fine, I'm going to go online to learn. You're going to have to push view more and then read through all this stuff if you're going to get something. Opposed to do that, why don't you just go get a book right there? Instead of reading this BS, which is somebody's opinion that they're never going to give you any reference points, they're never going to give you a page number, they're never going to give you a book, they're not going to give you anything for you to go back and say, let me just go check and see whatever. Never! Only people that do that is Moors that study. And then, you know, majority of Moors that study, they're not even on no online stuff like that because they're busy studying. If they go on there, just throw up something, and they go about their business. And that's it. Right? Theocracy. THEO.
Theocracy. Government of a state by the immediate direction of God, or
okay,
by
so let's hold on a second. Okay, so government of a state, right? Now remember that they were talking about which law is the whatever? And then they're going to ask the question, what's a theocracy? Well, if a theocracy is a government of a state, and then state could be Moorish Science Temple of America, and government, you know, Grand Governor, Grand Sheikh, Grand Treasurer, Grand Mufti, or whatever. So, right? And then you have divine constitution, which constitution would be the laws of the government for the particular state. Right? So you got, you know, New York got constitution, Philadelphia got constitution, or Pennsylvania got constitution, California got constitution. Every place that's a state, they have their own constitution, which would qualify them as so-called government. Now, if the divine constitution says that the Grand Sheikh and the chairman is empowered to make laws and enforce laws, then that would mean that Moorish Science Temple of America could qualify as a theocracy. It could qualify as that, but that is going to be determined on the members. Because these people are representatives of the membership. From a governmental perspective, if we're looking at theocracy, the Moorish Science Temple of America has everything that it needs. No different than we were talking about in a sit-down that we talked with a brother a couple days ago, that you go check anybody else that says that they're an organization, association, corporation, religious corporation, whatever. You go check them and find out how many of them have an actual flag that belongs to a nation to represent their organization. How come Moorish Science Temple of America has an actual flag that you can go to the UN, you can go to wherever, put this up, and everybody's going to say, oh yeah, they know that that's the flag of whatever. But all these other organizations have a banner or a crest or something not relative to a flag. And then if you have a flag, then that means you're a nation. So if Moorish Science Temple of America has a flag, is it really a religious corporation, really? Or is it really nation? Under the guise of this thing called religious corporation, because you have dumb niggers who coming out of Christianity, so they need something. And then you have some other dumb ones that are coming out of some other thing, and then they need another aspect. Everything is going to be received coming under the banner of your nation. Like we use Brother Omar's Empress as an example, that she's constantly questioning him, why is he going to classes to learn about his culture? Like, isn't that something supposed to be, you're supposed to know that already? And then he has to break down to her the whole thing about, well, you know, we were classified as Negroes and coming to slavery and da da da, because in the outside world, they don't talk about slavery and black anything. Only here they do that. Only with the crazies in North America do they talk about a certain person putting a certain person in slavery, and then that person being enslaved for 400 years or whatever like that. They never fought back or nothing like that. They just took it for 400 years. And then, you know, the people who enslaved them, let them go, and then they're still holding on to the names of the people that enslaved them. They're still holding on to the food that the people enslaved them. They're still holding on to the language that people enslaved them. All the customs that these people had, they're still holding on to the stuff, but you're free. You're supposed to, slaves got emancipated. What do you mean you still have a European name? 2017. Slaves been emancipated 400 years ago, and you still talking about there's some type of slavery going on. Only to our people who choose to be in that realm, who choose to think that
that we're trying to hide something because subversion of information, keeping information out from the public, when nobody talks about nothing more than Moors, especially active Moors. Active Moors have bigger mouths than anybody out here. They call everybody out, from Pope all the way down to janitors getting called out by Moors if they do something messed up. But it's never ever going to be considered as, you know, we're fighting the system, whatever like that. They're going to talk about we're down with it. We're part of the system because we're using the laws that they created or whatever. They don't create no laws. What European create one law around here? How European create laws? How? Oh, well, law dictionaries, that's the European book. What European book you talking about? I mean a European created something. And then yesterday, you're talking about European came out of the cave. Did you come out of the cave or did you create stuff? Which one is it? Because you can't come out of the cave and be the creator of stuff for a civilization. It doesn't work like that. Right?
That's why I had.
Yeah.
That,
you can finish up the theocracy when you're done.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I'll just finish.
when you're done.
I'll just finish. So theocracy, then we finish that. So a government of a state by the immediate direction of God or by the assumed direction of a suppositionary SUPPOSITITIOUS.
Never that one before.
Supposition. Yeah, I can't even pronounce it.
Superstitious.
Is it superstitious? It could be that. Or so it says, or by assumed direction of that's not superstitious. But it says divinity or the state thus governed. And I'll check that word out.
Right. So to have a theocracy, divinity.
Oh, yeah, so it is superstitious.
Right? So divinity also plays a part in this aspect of government, state, whatever, whatever. This is why Nobudrali told the Moors, you know, Nobudrali told the Moors, Allah, and then when Moors start doing their studying, they realize that Allah, right? And then law is universal, natural, common, constitutional, and when you check all these, you realize that all these have some type of divine aspect to it that makes each one of these be what it is. It's never that these stand on their own. There's always divinity involved when you're dealing with law. All times. As soon as you exclude divine from it, then you're not dealing with theocracy anymore. You're starting to deal with corporate policy and stuff that has nothing to do with the divine, with us, with our thinking or anything. It only has to do with our enslavement.
Yeah. So I just want to add too that I just seen something with the Dallas Cowboys. You know, everybody's kneeling, whatever, right? So the owner, Jerry Jones, comes out and says, if my players kneel, they ain't playing. Right? Or whatever. They're not playing. If you kneel, you ain't playing. Right? And so then, you know, reporters, they're doing interviews, asking the players, oh, what are you going to do? No comment, no comment. Oh, one player, he puts up his pink shoes for cancer, so I guess he ain't saying nothing but, you know? So they're saying everything else but whatever. But it's just funny to me that 80% of the team are Asiatics.
Yeah.
If you kneel and you don't play, there ain't no game.
Yeah.
They lose money.
Yeah. Simple as that.
Simple as that.
Simple as that.
And then what? The fans are going to be rioting. Oh, we didn't get a game.
Right.
Want our money back. And it's going to be being riots in the streets probably. And
again, it's going back to the same thing with, you know what I mean? With the what was it I was saying? Jalen Rose about why are people talking about anthems and stuff like that? That's not what the kneeling's about. Like people have been swayed into the protest is about the anthem. They don't talk about police brutality no more. Everything's about who's standing for an anthem, who's not kneeling, who has a fist up, who's whatever like that. What about all these people who got murdered, which is the whole reason why dude was kneeling in the first place? He wasn't kneeling because of anthem. That was just the stage to get the people's attention, because you know, if you don't stand for the anthem, oh, you must be B.I.E.
But also, everything has to do with the paradigm and the concept.
Yeah.
By using the word brutality instead of terrorists or terrorism gives them the play to do what they're doing right now.
To escape. Yeah.
To escape and divert and put their attention elsewhere. Right. If they were using police terrorism, it's a different thing. What's brutality? Right? That's the question. What's brutality?
Yeah, so like I'm thinking that even with these Moors that have so-called money and so-called power, right? They're all sellouts to me, or they are either that or they're afraid that if they do come out,
they're gonna lose.
They're gonna get lynched by their own people.
Yeah.
So it's like 90% of the league is Asiatic, so there ain't no league if they try to
whatever
do anything.
But again, that's how you corral or steer the Negro. You know what I mean? You tell him what he's gonna lose. You're gonna lose your house or whatever. You know, we made you.
Divinity's gone, so they don't see the power that they hold.
Right.
Yeah, because if they take away whatever, then okay, they take away whatever. Well, I ain't working, so you ain't getting nothing.
Right.
People have to realize that
they're the worth.
You're the worth.
There.
It's your energy that they want. It's not
losing you is not your paycheck. Like they're losing way more than you're losing in your paycheck.
Exactly. They have more to lose.
Yeah.
And
even when you deal with the whole entertainer thing or whatever, and sports people or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, you know, for the owner to come out and make a statement like that is making that same point. That you guys make me 80 trillion while you guys get paid million. If I don't have you guys, I don't have no trillions. So you better go run, nigga. Put on the mask, go run. Go stand up, whatever, because I'm paying you.
Pick that card.
You know what I mean? And you know, don't forget that all these so-called leagues or whatever, you know, going back to all theocracy or whatever, they're their own government. They have their own constitutions, they have their own laws, rules, or whatever like that. So these guys can talk BS, you know what I mean? It's like
they signed to it too. Right.
Yeah.
They signed their agreement.
Right, they signed on to it. Right. They're contracted to stand for the anthem and all that. So the ones, you know, so like you say, the ones that are standing there or whatever, you know, they might be talking BS in their head or whatever, but they're not kneeling, they're not messing up their check. Right? They're not messing up their check. You got something about it already?
No, I was talking about the flags and how the nations have flags.
Yeah.
I was thinking in my head, NOI.
Yeah.
Nation of Islam. And so they're claiming to be a nation.
Right.
Hey,
they don't even have a flag. They're claiming nation. Like they're saying nation.
Nation.
They don't have a flag. And then nobody's not realizing. Where's the flag? Right? Nobody's not realizing where's the flag.
What's the representation? Is it a crescent moon and a star or something? Or?
Yeah, crescent moon and star, yeah.
But it's not a flag. It's not in the form of a banner or a flag or nothing like that.
Yeah, it's just their symbol for their stuff that they put on cloth, call it a flag. For people who were asking about, we put up a post the other day with a brother that was locked up, but then he called into the show, or whatever, right? So we got a message from Brother Yap. Yahshua, Brother Yahshua L. The call from the brother in prison is real. Down here, prisoners do have cell phones in prison, but they're not allowed there. But they are in there. A cell phone may cost as much as $1,000 US notes behind the wall. So we were, you know, because people were questioning, you know, it's three-way or whatever like that. You know what I mean? It's not real and stuff like that. Because the brother was calling in the show talking about he's learning and he's, you know, locked up right now. I've been locked up for 10 years, but, you know, I've been studying this information I'm learning or whatever. He's calling into the show on a cell phone from jail. And everybody's, you know, everybody's scratching their head. You know, nobody's not saying nothing on the show, but everybody just like, he's called in from jail.
No, but it's true though, because I saw, like, even before I was conscious, like, came to the movement, I saw on World Star, these unconscious were in jail. They were in Tennessee, and they did a report on them, how they had cell phones, and they're on Instagram, and they're on Facebook, posting pictures from in jail.
It's real.
And then there's this other one, like, he was so big, he was pranking the guards, and, you know?
Yeah, it was big time.
He's bring up all the guards in the jail.
Mariam Bey, Islam Kudro L. Let me say thank you first and foremost for all your work helping to uplift fallen humanity. We must be married at once. Yeah, whoa. Just joking, but on the real, I'm looking for some help with studying certain subjects. For example, Clock of Destiny 1 and 2. I have watched several of your YouTube videos, however it seems they mainly touch on nationality and the Moorish crisis. Are you willing to help me understand these things fully? Please respond. Again, one thing for the females, it's important that they go to rvbaypublications.com and they read the Return of the Matriarch tab, right? After they read Return of the Matriarch tab, they go to Blog Talk Radio, blogtalkradio.com, MHAS, Eyes Wide Open. Eyes Wide Open, and they go to the program or the archives called Sisters Standing on Law. And the reason why, you know, don't feel bad, brothers could go on there too or whatever, but the reason why we tell sisters to listen to these archives of Sisters Standing on Law is because when we look at the Noble Drew Ali 101 questionnaire cover, right, we have Noble Drew Ali holding up a sister, and the sister has on her written humanity. Right, so when Moors say uplifting of fallen humanity, this is really what uplifting of fallen humanity is. Waking up the woman to the realization of who she is. And then when she's woken up to her power, then everybody else is going to have their power because mother has her power back. Until mom has her power, you know, everybody's powerless. Right? So the idea is, with Sisters Standing on Law, is to give the mothers who are unconscious the correct information, but also from a mother or another sister or another mother's perspective, because the message is going to be relayed different. Right? Us sons talking about more science to people has an effect. Mothers talking to mothers about more science has a totally different effect than just coming to a class or whatever like that, learning something, right? Because it's really about the womb being the school that teaches these people to be who they are. That's really what's going to make the lesson stick, is if we get it coming out of the womb. If we don't get it coming out of the womb and we're left to get it after we're here, then we're gonna have some issues getting what it is we're supposed to be getting. Right? So we would say, you know, with the females, the women, that MHHS eyes wide open, sisters standing on law, archives. There's a few years worth of stuff on there, and as well, Return of the Matriarch page on RV Bay Publications. And then again, you know, the theme of constant correction. You know, we want to bring back the idea of the matriarch being what's ruling, not the patriarch. Because we've been on the patriarch for a few hundred years, and we know that's only leading to death, destruction, wars, and whatever like that, because that's the man's ego, whatever. Right? This guy's gun's bigger than his gun, and his gun's bigger than the other guy's gun. That guy has missiles, forget his gun or whatever like that. And then, you know, women are in the back. When this could be done once, you know, the sisters get these brothers to realize that you guys ain't nobody with your guns, you think you're somebody. If your gun's so big and you're so important, have a baby. Patriarch. Do something, you know what I mean? Really show us something. You know what I mean? Sisters gonna go out there, something happened to the baby, lift the car up or whatever. Brother, we got Gatling gun or whatever. Sister will come and tell her brother in his ear a little something like that. This guy's gonna go home, clean the house or whatever like that. Dishes are done, change up stuff, whatever like that. Make sure everything's straight, make sure whatever, right? Like that's the power. But once she has it up, you know, we're not talking about, you know what I mean, thoughts or whatever like that. They're the matriarchs running stuff. We're not talking about them. We're talking about ones that have their mind right. The ones that have their mind right, they're gonna make sure that the brothers get their stuff right or whatever like that. You know what I mean? Do their what they do, support him, you know, rub his back or whatever like that, so he could feel like he's somebody. You know?
Yeah, but everybody knows that, right? Men know it, women know it, that they have the power of the sex or pussy or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So it's just for them to use it in a positive way, not just for material gain. I mean, which nothing wrong with that, but you have to uplift. Like say, without the women we can't rise, right? Because once they're on the information, they're born birthing conscious Moors, right? You don't even have to worry about them too much because they're going to be on the information because they're born from the womb.
A good example is if you could get it online, or I don't think we have any copies here, but Kirikou. If you have children and if you haven't seen the Kirikou movie, go watch Kirikou. Especially if you have a Moorish mindset, go watch Kirikou and then see if your mindset's gonna change. It's either that or
he burns his own self.
One of them two. Can't remember. But there's an English, then there's a subtitle, then there's a French one or something like that. But crazy movie. Crazy. I mean, if when you watch that, it should be clear immediately what's supposed to be going down. You know what I mean? Should be clear immediately. If you watch that and then you're still, well, I don't know what. So what do we do? Then it might be over for you. You might just have to throw it in. Do like Erica Badu next lifetime.
Hard rain?
Ooh, son who's so good. Oh, crack. Save that. Islam Morenos, just sharing a reference. The Phoenician origin of Britons and Scots. 1924, pages 411, 414. Small tips of our people. That's what I'm saying. Don't be.
When I had my youth,
Pulling down.
I had the money.
That, huh? Getting that Florida stuff going on right now.
We used to watch that. They loved it.
It's so bad.
Small tips of our people for decoding historical textbooks may want to get these tools: etymology, right concepts of law, just soli, just sanguinis, and trust law. Small tips to all newcomers on the info: be patient and have perseverance, especially when adverse reactions may rise in your initial stage of progression. Y'all will see. Alright, so for newcomers coming into the info, be patient and have perseverance, especially when adverse reactions. So adverse reactions is how we say that everything was cool when we were black, but now that we're Moors, everybody's, you want to take your head or whatever. You know, when we were down with Africa, everything was cool, but now that you're saying Moors, now, you know, you're a coon and people don't buy your albums no more and all that stuff. Don't even sweat that stuff. Those adverse reactions are their, you know, self-respect mechanisms, because they're so far from what the reality is that the only thing they can do is attack you to feel good about themselves. Because we already know they're not going to go do nothing to this European out here who's violating them every single day, whether it's through taxes, their paycheck, prison, tickets, whatever. They're never, ever, ever, ever going to go say nothing to European. But let Moors say that we're not black and all that stuff. They got, you know, hatchets and stuff like that coming at Moors. But they would leave this European alone, who's violating them and their children daily. Right? Some clown named Honky Kong Jr.
Not Donkey Kong?
Not Donkey Kong, Honky Kong. So Honky Kong said that the brother speaking in the beginning, he's actually talking about Miz in the video that we put up. This is a Mizraim challenge right here. The brother speaking in the beginning tried his method verbatim in the court due to his drug conviction, and his whole Moorish nationality claim was found frivolous, unintelligible, and had no merit in the United States. And he and his partner both lost their case on these claims and did jail time. Now again, this was on so-called, when we were dealing with Dane Calloway, and we put up the little 14-minute video with Miz doing the intro, or no, the class intro from MHHS, and obviously this person doesn't study, they don't know what the hell they're talking about, but we just wanted to put it out there that, you know, they always have their thing about tell RB Bay Publications to show a court case where their legal findings were victorious in a case of nationality as a Moor. I guarantee you they will provide none. Right? This goes back to that thing of when people get on these online whatever, and they think that online is a reality. Right? Now you can go to the transcript of any, you just go to any transcript for any court, anything having to do with Moors, right? And you would find out in majority of these cases that you're not going to find a transcript. The reason why you're not going to find a transcript because stuff gets dismissed when Moors go in there. If they attempt to say they're going to do a transcript, the only way the transcript's going to go out is if the transcript states that the individual is guilty of something. Other than that, you're not getting it. Right? You're not going to find the transcript. The other way that you're going to get the transcript of something that happened and, you know, a Moor won in court or whatever, is if that Moor Moor orders their own transcripts. And they put it up there for everybody to know what's up. But don't think that you're going to go online searching for some cases with Moors that beat some case or whatever like that, and European, who's the enemy of our people, waking up is going to put it up there that, yeah, you got 50 cases here where Moors went to court and stuff got dismissed because they were Moors. They ain't doing that. That's not beneficial to the nigger industry that they have out there running. Right? They want that to live. And the only way that lives is by people staying in the dead status so that those people have jurisdiction over them. Whether, again, it's through taxes or licenses or child services, whatever, CAS or whatever it is, there's going to be some type of contract that they have with you that no matter when you did it, they're going to go back to that to try to suck you back in to the dead status. And then you have to be in the place where, you know, like we say, know who's who and what's what. So you know that these people aren't government, so as soon as they come talking to you about you need to do something or whatever like that, you already know they're not government. They're private, foreign, European, colonial operations that are called corporations, but their job is really to continue the inquisition of the Moors. Keep the Moors subservient, keep the Moors docile, keep the Moors calling themselves all this stuff that they're not, in order for that the European powers to be able to be comfortable here. Because once you make somebody passive, then they'll be content on the plantation. They'll take little scraps or whatever like that, call that soul food, and they'll be good with that. They'll be content with, like we use the example of all season. And then all the island people, you know, they use all seasoning. But all seasoning is all the seasonings that fell on the floor or whatever like that. Master didn't use it, whatever. They swept that up and then they put that in one container, and now you guys have seasoning for outside in the plantation, in the little shack or whatever that you got outside. Because they're not letting you in the house to come get the salt shaker, the pepper shaker, the paprika shaker, the whatever. They put all the stuff in one and say, there you go. There's your stuff. Right? That's how they do our people. That's the pattern of how they do our people. Right? So and as soon as we get to the realization of, you know, like we're saying, realizing that people are trying to let us know stuff or whatever like that, whether, you know, especially if it's people who have finance. If you have no finance and they have finance and they're saying you're Moors or you're indigenous or whatever, you probably want to listen to what they say because they have finance. So they don't really have to tell you anything. They could go over here, they could live their life with their finance, go, you know what I mean, go Cancun, Poconos, or whatever, do whatever they want. They don't have to relay the message. The fact that they're relaying the message, yo, you're not black and all that stuff, people should be taking those people super serious. Immediately. Because it's been past that, we're supposed to be past that. Like, it's not supposed to be 2017, you know what I mean? Waka Flocka's talking about he's gone all over the world and everybody in the world knows that we're not black people. Only in North America we know that. But then in 2017, our people are still there in that place. I mean, again, we use the example. African people don't say, I'm African. They name the nation that they come from in Africa. One of the 52 nations, 54 nations, whatever it is, they name one. They don't just say generic, oh yeah, you know, we're from whatever. You know, you're not going to have so-called, you know, Filipinos say, I'm Asian. They know that's in Asia, but they're not going there. Like if it's international law and they have to go to world court, they're not, yeah, we're the Asians, we're here to represent Asian people, we're a branch of the Asian. No, they're going to deal with their nationality, their nation, their flag, and all the stuff that comes with it. Right? And that's the same place where we have to be at with our thing so we can recognize what it is that we have. Because we don't think we have anything. Now, we also want to put on the record, with regard to this idea of go and learn something online, go on YouTube, go on Instagram, Facebook, you know, Snapchat, whatever. Know that that's a controlled arena, right? So we got a privacy complaint. We got a privacy complaint on Friday. Interesting day that you know complain or whatever, right? Friday was the 13th. We got a privacy complaint on YouTube that the same guy there, Dane Calloway, flagged one of the videos that we put up when we were beating his ass up for talking BS about RV-Bay publication.
Last weekend there?
Yeah, right? So, where I come from, like if you have an issue with somebody and instead of you go deal with them, you're going to go to some authority, whatever like that, and tell them or whatever like that, that's snitching, right? Right? Now, if this is an individual that has YouTube fans or whatever, subscriptions or whatever like that, and all these so-called fans watch his stuff, he has 5,000, 10,000, 35,000 view videos, and this individual, his mode of operations is go snitch, opposed to send a message and say, hey, you know, you guys put my name in your video, you know what I mean, like why did you guys do that? Then we can tell them, oh, we did that because your punk ass did that. Why would we be the only ones that you say you can't use my video when there's mad people out there who use his videos? He's not complaining on them getting their stuff shut down or whatever. So we know that it's a campaign, right? Because a lot of these people, so-called YouTube stars, scholars, or whatever like that, they are YouTube agents to keep people dumb. You find me some Moorish videos with 30,000, 40,000 views on there, then I'll think these people are for the interest of our people. But when I go to all the black stuff, the popular black YouTube pages, and they're not talking anything about for the liberation of our people, but they got 50,000 and all that stuff views, you know, again, the experiment is saying that's how dumb the people are. Because it should be the other way around. The videos dealing with enlightenment and, you know what I mean, as far as our people are concerned. We're not talking about some European has esoteric videos up and that has 100,000 views, because we already know only Europeans are watching them, right? That are on that wavelength. But these individuals that say, you know, they're for liberation of our people, and then they're gonna move toward being a snitch as a means to stop them from getting shine that, you know, obviously they're asking for. If you're going to call out RV-Bay publications, trust me, some Moors are going to hear, and we're going to take your head. That's just what it is. It's not nothing personal. We rep what we rep. And we've been repping that. And we've repped that to the point where we've exercised with it, and we know that it's real. It's not some guessing, we don't know if this works or whatever like that. We got 20, 30-year track record that being Moors is really what it's about for our people. It's not about anything else. If anybody thinks that it's about something else, they're strongly mistaken. Right? So, dude did his little snitching thing or whatever, and these are the people that are teaching our people. So know for a fact that this world, you know, like me and Omar were talking about it yesterday, because, you know, from the Moorish perspective, we're looking at it like, well, you know, it's not really, it can't really work like that, because there's two parties involved that were going back and forth. So if you do one to one, then you have to do one to the other, right? Now you can't hold us to some obligations that we violated some YouTube stuff, but then the guy who complained, he's not being held to anything. All right? So we're looking at, well, you know, this the United States Constitution and all that stuff, and then came to the realization That's why they got their little thing at the bottom, terms and conditions in blue, click that, and then a whole 50-page document comes up for YouTube, which lets you know that that's their own realm. So once you step into that realm of Facebook, if you say black people suck, you might get blocked. It's not because of whatever, you know, racist people or whatever like that. It's because they have their own rules, regulations, quote-unquote laws in that world called Facebook. And then the YouTube world has different rules than the Facebook world. The Twitter world has different rules than the worst world. And then the Gmail rules has different rules, and everybody has all these different rules, but there's one supreme law of the land that nobody's following. There's all these people who are saying, we're going to take down your whatever, or, you know, they're going to take your picture and whatever like that, put it on other stuff. That's violating people's right, or rights even. Because if that's my picture, who are you taking that and you're going to go do something with it? Oh, but you know, part of the rule is anything that you put up now belongs to them. Don't even talk about, you know, that's yours after you put it on the web. Once it goes on the web, it's the web's. And any and everybody has access to, you know what I mean? That picture, the booty picture that you thought nobody was going to see.
Yeah.
You know, because you thought, you know, I deleted it. No, you didn't delete nothing. That's on the server forever. Brother Muhammad, if you remember the Ghanaian video, Brother Sheldon L. He was traveling with a brother by the name of Muhammad, and Brother Muhammad just started up his business, where he wants to make sure that the Asiatics of America have access to their cultural wares from on that side, right? So his email is Muhammad, M-U-H-A-M-M-E-D, Muhammad.Jordan, Jordan, at ymail.com. Muhammad.Jordan at ymail.com, and send him an email and he'll send you all the pictures of, you know, because he's working on the website right now, but until the website's up, if you want to get a viewing of the type of garments or traditional clothes that they're going to be distributing, just send them an email. Just send them all the pictures that you want of whatever it is that you want. And again, go back to Noble Juali's call to the Moors that, you know, your brothers from the East are going to come save you. So, and keep in mind that the brothers from the East, they know that we're not black and all that stuff. They know that we're Moors. Including, again, Brother Muhammad, who is from the continent, who is Muslim, family's been Muslim. They got the short version of the fez and all that stuff that they wear when they go to the mosque and all that, you know what I mean, with the little, they got the little button on it and everything. So they're familiar, they know, they already know what's up, you know what I mean. So when you contact with them, just remember that's the Moor from Brother Sheldon's video, who was giving us the breakdown of the fez. And that the fez is, you know, prestigious in quote-unquote African culture, and whoever has one, you know, they're, you know, looked at as whatever. And the whole time Brother Sheldon has his fez on, he's walking around quote-unquote Africa, they're talking about he's Prince and all that type of stuff. Right? Right. But he's not from over there, but he's a prince. Right? Like, look at how these people are looking at it. Right? They're looking at a brother that came from America to quote-unquote Africa, that he's a prince. But they're not saying he's a prince from over there. He's not a prince, he's not a long-lost prince of the African whatever or whatever. He's from this side and they know that he's a prince.
Chinese.
Right? Prior to that, I was getting my tires changed, and I forget what continent, but he's an African brother, right? But he's not African. He's from Kenya or wherever he's from. I had my fez on as usual, right? Just get my tires changed. The brother was there, and I get out of my car and walk up to the garage and he goes, "See this?" Puts his hand around my shoulder and he goes, "This brother right here, you see this guy? This is what we call back home. This is the king. You know, these guys are the kings. You know, these guys. This is from Morocco. You know, this is the king right here. You know, only kings wear these things. You know." And then he didn't know what to say after that. He was just like, "Okay, you know." And what about his business? Because there was a bunch of European brothers that were working there. You know, he was just telling them. You know, I didn't have to say that.
Check the real. Yeah. You know what I mean? Don't get it twisted. You see this guy come around, he's not, you know, the black guys that you guys usually deal with. I mean, this is the king right here. You know?
This is a guy from Africa or wherever, not Africa.
Right? And again, this is a common thing. You know what I mean? Like we're saying, like, you know, to the people who have doubt, you can go to a costume store if you think it's fake or whatever. Go to a costume store, buy a fez from a costume store. A fake fez. Buy a Doctor Who fez or something like that. Put that on and just walk around here and see what happens. Just see what happens. Just see. Just to try. You know what I mean? If you have so much doubt about Moors, our Moors, this, our Moors, that, or whatever, just go to the costume store, buy a fez. Right? Matter of fact, even go worse than that. Just go get some red Bristol board, fold it, staple on it or whatever. Right? Get the little wool stuff, make yourself a tassel or whatever like that, and just put that on, just walk, see what happens. Just see, just to see. You know what I mean? That way, you know, Bristol board, you're not expensing yourself, you don't have to pay shipping and stuff like that. You get that from the dollar store, you know what I mean? Staples, cheap, you know, you can just try it and see what happens. Just to test it out and see how the interaction is. Are they really gonna deal with me like royalty if I wear a fez? Well, the Moors said that, you know what, I'm going to go try and see. I just want to see. And don't forget, you know, camera phone, so make sure you have your camera phone so you can record what happens. And then when it blows up and it's, you know what I mean, in their face, make sure you upload the stuff so all the dumb other people could see that, well, I just put on a fake one of these and look how they do with me. Imagine how they do with the Moors. Who are really on this, it's not even a question to them. About are we more, should we call ourselves something else or whatever like that. So with that, we'll just throw out, if anybody has any questions, you can shoot those up. Especially the new people. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge and all that stuff right there. You're new. Feel free to ask anything you want right now. We also want to put out if there's any Moors that want to assist with, we're starting to we had our ADIT meeting yesterday. We're going to be setting up a town hall meeting soon to deal with some further progression that we want to make as far as with, you know what I mean, what we're doing and all that stuff. One of the things we spoke about in the meeting was Juali Day is coming up. So if anybody has donations that they want to give so we could get our place taken care of, so we can get our catering taken care of, you can either speak with me today or you can email transfer to Brother Amari any donations that you have for Noble Juali Day. The idea or the plan for Juali Day this year is you know, the usual lectures and stuff like that, but we also want to have some type of possibility of having some type of brunch before the event. So, you know, we're going to have the lunch stuff, that's separate, but prior to that, we want to have a little, you know, just a little sit down, chill before stuff goes on or whatever, just so Moors could, you know, be there early and, you know, get a little build on before. So that's in the air as far as the brunch thing, but definitely we're going to be doing 25 notes at the door, and with the 25 notes you get one
plate of food or whatever. Right? After that, you're buying. Right? So with your admission, you get your one plate, and you already know how, you know, 5 Principles. If you haven't checked out 5 Principles Catering, that's Brother Lanre and Sister Adwa just started up their vegan catering company. And then that's who we usually get to do all of our food or whatever. So if you want to support that, feel free to do some donations. And if anybody has questions, you can throw those up now. If not, we'll...
Who's coming to speak?
We're looking at doing some Skypes. We messaged only 2 people so far, but we're looking at Skyping either Todd Skype, Sister Roz Skype, Asir. There's probably like two others. I mean, if we do Skype, there's maybe like 5 or
those
6.
free Skypes, or are they those, or are they free, or?
It depends on who we get. You know what I mean? Like, for example, you know what I mean? If we get Taj, Raz, those people, you know what I mean? That's fam. So they'll just do it on the strength and yeah, I know. Right? So they might do it on the strength, but then we'll take a donation at the thing to give them, you know, something for their time.
Right?
Yeah. If it's somebody who has a fee, then, you know, they got a fee. But you already know when you watch the addressing in the playlist for Canaanland Moors addressing conscious contradictions, we give our list of who our people are as far as, you know, our master teachers. So those people are qualified for us to give them some finance. Anybody else, you know, we'll see how it goes. But, you know, if we're giving finance, we're giving it to credible people. You know what I mean? Not sub-credible or whatever. Any other questions? Comments? Testimonials? Anything in the week more?
No worries, man. I'm still gonna save some. I'm gonna give it all right. But I got 5 of the tickets. This 5 of the suits them from the area, man. 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we'll talk about that after.
All right.
The Chinese man. I'm not finished yet, bro. It's Chinese man. After get together with him, he know me.
Yeah.
You're not no black man, man. He know I'm not a black man.
After the talk, yeah.
After the talk.
Yeah.
He come pick me up with his conveyance, take me to his house.
The same one with the store, with the
No.
From, or somebody
No, that's the one with the shop. This is a different one.
Okay.
I even mentioned the other one to him.
Yeah.
So he picked me up, take me to his house, show me his house,
yeah,
give me his conveyance, take it, go fix it, and call me when you're finished.
Yeah.
I told him maybe I don't have room. Take it to your place, do whatever you want to do. Here's the key. And it's park outside. Think he's going to give a black guy that?
Yeah.
Take him to his house in Woodbridge. No,
definitely not Woodbridge.
Woodbridge? No.
Hell no.
That's my weekly piece. You know,
Woodbridge is definitely not giving no black guys no keys. Straight.
I was doing, we're going to get some sushi, Desiree and I. And, I was just chilling in the parking lot. I was getting out of the car and I'm like, hey, don't mind me, And brothers were like, they came up to me because I was, doing what I was doing. And I'm like, don't mind me. I didn't want to be rude. I'm like, just don't mind me,
Yeah.
And they're like, what? Send some of that, And we started building. I'm like, where are you guys from? Instantly, because they got some dark kids in them, So I'm like, you guys are Filipino or something, So I just decided to go in on that, And I showed them the fez and whatnot, and they're like, yeah, that's Moro, that's Islamic, Right away they said Moro, Islamic. Moro for them means Islamic, right? Yeah. So right away I'm like, yeah, we're all brothers, we're all tied in together, This over here, you guys have it over there too, Going in on that. And then the older guy, he's like, yeah, I understand. I'm like, yeah, we're in North America, not Canada. You guys understand that? They perfectly understood that, no problem, no question.
No fighting.
No fighting.
No fighting.
You know? And I'm like, yeah, see, we're all brothers, you know, we're just coming together, you know, but you see the other people that look just like us, and just like me, you know, like that look just like you, they're calling themselves the black man. They're like, yeah, I don't know why, and they're like, yeah, we're brothers, we're home now, you know. But then the one thing that caught me was the brother's Filipino brother, you know, he's like, came here, he's like, I love North America. He wasn't even mentioned in Canada anymore. He's like, I love North America, you know. He's like, I love the fact that I came here 17 years. He said he saved up $20,000. He said, I'm taking that $20,000 and I goes to the people back in the Philippines. They have no shoes, no nothing.
Help them out.
I'm gonna help them out and you know and do what I gotta do. He's like, I'm blessed to have. Yeah, he's just like he's just happy to speak with me. You know, the whole time is hands around me. You know, some brotherly love. You say you're more awesome Negroes. I'm like, peace, that's me talking to you and whatnot. Our food is ready. And the brother goes, where you going? You're not going to give me a number? He's like, come here, we're going here every Friday. Come by. We're here. Come by. You know what I mean? No, but it's just, like, once they recognize that, you're not. Yeah. They're not that. They love, like how you said, they love us. They open up to you. You know what I mean? It's for our people, it's an anomaly to them. You know what I mean? Because it's not even something that's going to register with them that what just happened or this could happen or the possibility of this thing. It's not even anything there. You're talking about group hugs are going. Yeah. You know what I mean? Group hugs amongst strangers. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Strangers calling each other brother or whatever. You know? And then again, like they say, where's the Moorish unity? It look like Moorish unity to me. If they're gonna look at you and talk about, hey, moral, that's the moral stuff from then obviously they know. Because of you. Alright. Peace. Thanks for listening. Alright. Their hue is like, it's dark, you know? Yeah. They have a dark hue. So when the sun hits you, when the sun hits you, you guys get dark like us, no? And they're all like, yeah, you're right. So I'm like, yeah, so there you go, with brothers, you know? So it is what it is, you know what I mean? So we're here every Sunday, 1 o'clock. If you can't make it, we're always online. We got a YouTube page and all that, Canaanland Moors. Few thousand videos up there, so go in there, go nuts, go swim, and trust you'll get something up. Anything else? Everybody's good? Yeah, man.
You know what's going on with the dinner thing, the fall equinox?
Actually, well, 5 Principles is supposed to be doing their launch, so we might try to collaborate it with that.
Welcome everybody to 5 Principles Cuisines recipe tutorial, and today we are going to be working on a vegan stir-fry teriyaki. So what we are using is a plant-based meat, which is this textured vegetable protein. We are going to just use simple vegetables. We have our peppers, we have our scallion, we have our onion, garlic, some hot country pepper, mushrooms, Brussels sprouts, and our seasonings. So first, you wash your vegetables. You don't need much. So first, what we're going to do is cut. Cut up our seasonings for our vegetables. When you are cutting your vegetables, you want to make sure that your fingers are curled over and are holding the vegetable or whatever food item it is that you are cutting very stable, so that you are missing your fingers when you are cutting with the knife. And you want to take your time, more experiences, go faster, go at your own pace. Garbage. So we are ready with our ingredients for our stir-fry teriyaki. What we have done is cut up our bell peppers lengthwise. We have diced onions, we have our scallions that are finely chopped. We have mushrooms, cremini mushrooms. You can use whatever mushrooms you like. If you're not a mushroom fan, don't use them. For those who do not eat textured vegetable protein, mushrooms are an awesome way to substitute for that, who don't like to use soy. We're going to take some oil. We're going to turn our pot on first. And you want medium to high heat. You're going to squeeze a considerable amount of oil into the pot. You want the oil to heat up first before you add any vegetables, because that brings out the flavor of whatever vegetables it is you're using right away. First, you put in your scallions and your onions. You're going to put in your garlic, finely chopped. So you want your seasonings to just saute for a few minutes. At this time you can add seasonings. What I would do first is add our textured vegetable protein. We want that to gather the aromas, the flavors of whatever's in the pot to begin with. All right? Next, whatever all-purpose seasoning it is that you use, add some. Be generous. There are people who prefer white pepper instead of black pepper because of health reasons. White pepper is healthier for the human body, so we are going to use white pepper today. And again, be generous with your seasonings. A little curry powder goes a long way. So we're going to just a pinch of that. You don't want it to be all curry, right? We have a little salt. Himalayan salt is the best salt, or they say sea salt. Himalayan is awesome to use as your salt alternative. Country pepper is our spice for this dish. Finely chopped. Add to your pot. Give that a stir. If you have to add more oil while you're cooking, do so. So that you're not burning anything. If you feel like the food is turning brown too quick, or if it's you just want to turn the heat down just a little bit, right? If you could smell what I smell. Okay, the oil that we are using is grapeseed oil. Great health benefits, great to use for cooking, for high heats. Avocado oil is good for cooking. For those who just use vegetable oil, it's all right too, but you can take a rain check on the vegetable oil for a bit and use an alternative. We are going to add our peppers. That's our sweet bell peppers, cut lengthwise, right? Give you some color and flavor. With cooking, it's about the flavor, all about flavor, but it's also about presentation. So we want our food to look pretty, not just smell and taste good, but to look good. All right? We're gonna add our mushrooms. Now, some people like their mushrooms cut very big, some of them cut very small, some don't like it at all, like my son. I try to hide them in my dishes and he still finds them. So, do it to your preference. But just make sure you get the seasoning right and everything is good to go. Okay? Last but not least, we're going to add our Brussels sprouts. Or bean sprouts, sorry, not Brussels, bean sprouts. All right? Pretty, isn't it? Yeah. And then dinner is cooked in no time. All that's left that this needs is our teriyaki sauce. And again, be generous with your teriyaki sauce. If you like gravy, the more the merry. But don't overdo it. Some would like to add water to their stir fry, just to give it a little bit of gravy also again. Or if it's too strong the flavor, just to simmer it down a bit. You put a cover on that for the next 5 minutes or less, and your meal is finished. And it's as easy as that, ladies and gentlemen. You can have dinner within 20 minutes to a half an hour. What I would suggest you do, since we're serving this on rice today, we could serve it on quinoa, but we're serving it on brown rice. And there you have it, your vegan teriyaki stir fry. Enjoy.
Have like a buffet style type of launch or whatever. I guess they'll have the stage talk about whatever, but it's just gonna be a buffet style type dinner. So I think they're looking at 80 capacity or something like that. You know what I mean? So we'll just get in with that, and it's probably gonna be that. So we'll keep you posted with where it's gonna be and all that stuff, and you know what the finance and stuff is looking like. Just because they're doing their thing, you might as well, you know what I mean? Yeah, put it together. But usually it'll be, or if we do anything relative to that, it's gonna be, you know, we just pick a spot, everybody just meet up there, bring how much ever you want to spend to eat, and we just, you know, get a 50 table seat and we just do it, or how much ever people go or whatever. Alright. Everybody's good? Straight? Alright, so we'll just close out. Give thanks to everybody for being here. Islam to all the Moors online for their attendance. I know Sisters Standing on Law was today, so you know, they're either going to get the archive of this, or they were on here and they're missing that, or they're missing this and they're on that, whatever. It's all the same stuff. So we'll just close out. Face the east. 5 on the left, 2 on the right. Allah, the Father of the universe.
Allah, the Father of the universe.
Father of love.
Father of love.
Truth.
Peace.
Freedom. And justice. Allah is my protector.
Allah is my protector.
My guide. And my salvation. By night. By day. Through his holy prophet. Noble Juali. Islam.
It's meant to wake you up out of your brain.
Yeah, when more study our Quran and questions for Moorish children, prosecutors and magistrates hate us in the admin buildings, challenging jurisdiction, paperwork sent first, no fiat, quenching their money hungry, bloody credit thirst. Trustees benefit when they cheat your estate. That you thought was a provincial state is a big mistake. From corporate plantations, there's no escape or back door unless reserve rights on contract doors. Keep eyes open for, like you misplaced something. It's witchcraft when you hear caught and your heartbeats jumping. Extortion, past due letters, fake money, bounty hunting. Filing public records, papers with in-debt counties fronting to have authority, constitution approved. But those filed papers at the county doesn't stop the abuse. Might as well just put on the noose, shackles and chains on ankles, no boots. In snowstorms with no shame, with no status, no flag, no free national name. With fractional damage, collateral, irrational claims. Catch a psych evaluation or contempt of quasi-court. Calling out what's not in evidence won't set a precedence. Misprision of treason and gross negligence. Denying due process and sharing the same sentiments. On you harder than cement is. If you give them a chance, I'm here to help you not enter their brainwash camps. Keep your neck hidden, no kidding. Watch out for vamps, light revealer, and keeper won't keep casting the lamps. Always giving without expecting thanks. In a b-boy stance, scimitar swinging at outstretched hands.
My attack is purely mental and its nature's not fit. It's meant to wake you up out of your brainwash. My attack is purely mental and its nature's not fit. It's meant to wake you up out of your brainwash.
Yo, they run on a fraud with elegance, lower self-elements. Get the gentleness stomp of Hannibal Alp elephants. Taking back our settlements, induce relevant resonance. In full life, ancestral mind, no artificial intelligence. Men turn bionic, high off the seedless hydroponic. Thinking they on it, but what they on it must be demonic. Not Baphomet, Moroccan star on his head. Crescent moons of Islam, he uses caduceus from Kemet. Sitting in meditation, goatee like a Rasta. Raised Kundalini light bursts out the crown chakra. Volcanic viewed HD and panoramic. No ayahuasca root, seeing signs and symbols automatic. Dinner plate eyes, cause mine's so wide open. Maybe an omen, can't see truth cause your third eye's swollen. And it's not going down no matter what spell's spoken. Or your devotion or golden potent potion. Can't even use water frozen, Moorish shogun. Says the calcifying chambers now rest in the bottom of oceans. Left hoping, false prophet quoting and chasing. Minds under control like lasers for steel engraving. Mental blocks and thought barricades, the real enslaving. No cape, no type, no dynamic duo when I'm saving. With heads locked, pop brainwash, don't think I'm breaking or b-boying. Put scholars, very annoying. With hillbilly sovereigns, knowledge hee-hawing. Being sold out by my owners, what has me warring?
My attack is purely mental and its nature's not fit. It's meant to wake you up out of your brainwash. My attack is purely mental and its nature's not fit. It's meant to wake you up out of your brainwash. My attack is purely mental and its nature's not fit. It's meant to wake you up out of your brainwash. My attack is purely mental and its nature's not fit. It's meant to wake you up out of your brainwash. My attack is purely mental and its nature's not fit. It's meant to wake you up, wake you up, wake you up. My attack is purely mental. Wake you up out of your brainwash. It's purely mental. Wake you up, wake you up. My attack is purely mental and its nature's not fit. It's meant to wake you up out of your brainwash. Brainwash, 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 brainwash.